Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a Pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This be episode 861 of the Two Dum Yinzers, the most interactive Pittsburgh Steelers talk show here in Pittsburgh. Welcome back. Glad to see everybody this morning. Where do you even start? On a day like this? If anybody has anything good to say about the Steelers, please do share it on the terrible board, because there's probably not going to be a whole bunch today to smile about. It is Ravens week. We do got the Ravens in 6 days from now, and it does have a lot of playoff implications. But you know what? We're gonna decompress a little bit today. We'll get back into come on. That's not even a JV offense, guys. Wow. If the Buffalo Bills are even playing good, they look as tired as we were. I mean, come on, you're looking at Josh Allen. I've seen this guy play many times, and he just, again, they look, I guess this is where you're at this week in the season, but anyway, everybody's at this point, and it's not really an excuse. There's a lot of things to get into today. Really a lot of things to get into. Again, I truly, honestly don't know where to start. Let me see. I want to say good morning to everybody on the board before I do get started. That's what I want to do. That'll make me feel better. Good morning, everybody. RB, my man. Good morning. Great to see you, sir. I guess it's the afternoon here in our time. RB says this. I've been told this morning the minority owners are pressuring Art for about moving on Mike Tomlin. Also, RB says, as a scandal is about to drop, that he has a second family with a stripper from Palace in the Pines in Newcastle, PA. That's interesting. Really interesting. Cody, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Cody on the board. He says, man, we fucking suck. Tortilla, he says the Steelers are autistic. We are autistic, sir. Cody says, at least I picked Buffalo in the pick'ems, and we're The Las Vegas Raiders, same. Oh, that's right. We're looking. Yeah, I tell you what, I sure picked up on the pick'ems after the first 4 games of the weekend. Before Sunday even started, I was down 0-4, so I was able to get back into it, which was exciting. But again, we will get to those entirely tomorrow as the Monday night game does wrap up tonight for the week of 13 in the NFL. We'll get into that and so much more tomorrow, guys. But everybody's doing well. Everybody's doing well. And I got to say, Cody's at the very top at the list this week. So good on him, man. And let's hope you could finish it up, wrap it up this week. Let's see. We do got Bingo. What's up, dude? Always great seeing Bingo Winchester on the board. Bingo says, quick call, Allegheny County Sheriff's to report Tomlin for elder abuse. 43-year-old with broken wrist and bloody face put back in the game. Lindsay, hey, how you doing? Great to see you on the terrible board as always. Hope your weekend was well. Tortilla says, we were reporting Tomlin to ICE. If enough reports go through, maybe we can deport him. RB says, I enjoy watching the Bills run the same exact 8 times. Dude, what is going on? It's not that this team isn't good. They're downright bad at this point. Same play 8 times. They know Twat just was to crush the quarterback. How many times did he run right past the play? How many times did we not lock down that outside edge? Because our outside linebacker, come on. They played him like a fool. They played us like a fool. Cody says this. Why the fuck would they put Will Howard on the inactive list knowing Rodgers is already injured on our head coach's ass? Yinzer Joe, what's up, bro? Always great seeing Yinzer Joe on the terrible board. Yinzer Joe says, sure as hell wasn't going to leave Rudolph in there. Bingo says, anything good? Crickets, everybody. Where's the good? Anything good about this team? Please, again, throw it up on the terrible board. I would love to address it before we get into it today. Again, a lot of it. It's going to be interesting, guys. The team is way worse than I even expect. I mean, come on. The beginning of the year, offseason, I said, well, this team has to be torn apart, torn down to the ground, and built back up. And, they took the route that they went. And I said, you know what? I'm on board. I'm on board with DK Metcalf. I'm on board with Jalen Ramsey. I'm on board. Let's do this. And somehow it manages to be worse off than it was under Matt Canada. Somehow it's managed to be worse than it was under Kenny Pickett. Let's move on. Cody says, Aaron Rodgers is the worst quarterback in the NFL. Mark Malone, we may be witnessing the end of the tyrannical rule of Rooney Ruler. Brian, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Brian on the terrible board. My man, he says it's time for Rooney to hand it over to his son or sell it. It all starts and ends with him. Just Learning, what's up, dude? Glad to have you back on the terrible board. Always great seeing Just Learning again. He says 2 key plays: Rodgers fumbles, Mason interception. We win that. We win next week, first play. You know what? I think next week is totally winnable. I really do. But in the long run, things. Can you imagine that offense that we seen yesterday playing in January? Can you just imagine this JV? What the hell? At one point, I was beginning to think, okay, these guys are fucking with us now. But there's a lot going on, guys. There's a lot that we're going to get into. What's going on in the locker room? Players calling out coaches. Quarterbacks calling out players. Ex-players calling out everybody. Guys, there's a lot of things going on to get into today. A lot of things going on. But I am going to move on the board here for a little bit because I don't want to leave anybody out on this Monday morning, guys. I do want to hear the voice of every Yinzer of everything that needs to be said this morning because, again, guys, I need you to walk me off the ledge this week, maybe. Cody says, fire the Rooneys. Cody also says Mason Rudolph is worse than Rodgers. Comes in with his first throw as an interception. How about that? Lindsay said, I'm mad no one was fired today. The OC or DC would be a good. Absolutely. Abso-friggin-lutely. And granted, listen, at the end of the day, the Buffalo Bills are a better football team than we are. They are because they have their guy at quarterback. But I got to tell you, that Buffalo Bills team is the worst Buffalo Bills team that I've seen us face in the last at least 5 or 6 games, which one of those games Kenny Pickett managed to win against the Buffalo Bills team. But the again, let's do continue. Bingo says, LOL, Palace in the Pines, Day Shifter 2. Cody says this, fire everyone, release Rogers, release Rudolph, release DK Metcalf, release TJ. All those guys suck, and they ran the ball at JPJ every time. I got to be honest with you. JPJ's tackling did get better. Did anybody notice that? That's one thing that I'm learning about this team being so bad. We can't stop a running back within the first two levels. We're going to really see how these defensive backs tackle. And I got to be honest with you, I was kind of impressed with what JPJ was doing as far as tackling people. From where he was, anyway, he's certainly improved. But again, I guess you have to be where we are to really see that. Just Learning says it's tough offensive scheme with 3 short slot receivers. DK is doubled. Tomlin should take over play calling in Detroit, like the guy in Detroit did. You know what? There's so much to say about that. Every receiver that we do have, and it's funny when we say they're midgets and they're shrimps and this and that. But come on, if somebody's more rangy than you, let me put it to you this way. Say you're playing with a friend and he's 6'7", and I know RB's 6'7", but just chill, RB. I just proving a point here. And somebody's trying to throw you a ball, but you got the guy that's 6'7" playing monkey in the middle, trying to stop you from getting the ball. If you're not rangy like that, it's more difficult. Think of somebody playing basketball against a guy who's 6'7" and you're 5'10". So range does mean something, you know what I mean? And we got all our receivers are Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin, the unexciting whites. I think that, I mean, they're not really big. I guess Skoronek's kind of big, but man, let's move forward. Somber, what's up, fuckers? What's up, brother? Always great seeing Somber on the terrible board. Cody said, sup, Somber? Sup, fucked? Cody says, ready to talk some shit. Everybody, nice to see Somber today. Tortilla, we should trade everyone and stack 22 picks for this next draft and just send it with a whole new team of rookies. You might be better. You might be better off. Somber says, I'm exhausted. I'm not going to lie. I don't feel if I have much shit talking left. I'm thinking that this morning, guys. This team is really making it difficult. I mean, the talking points there, new talking points came up yesterday. There's a whole bunch of stuff we're going to get into. Cam Hayward getting into with Josh Allen, and again, a lot of the comments after the game. A little scuffle between a former player and a current player on Twitter going down. A lot of things to get into, so we will be getting into that. Cody says he agrees. RB says when we realize coordinators are in name only here, these guys do what they are told. 2 DCs, 3 OCs. It's the same game plan for 11 years. Ask yourself why 5 coordinators do all this. All do the same thing. Bingo says this. Grandpa Cam got his feelings hurt when the opposing quarterback need his belly. Do something about it, for fuck's sake. Soft. I know. You do it between the whistles. The guy kicks you in the belly. Get him. Don't cry the whole entire between plays. I mean, come on. For one, that's going to get you a flag eventually. And you're not doing anything good for your team. So do what you do. Do what you ask for extra money for. You had an amazing season last year. This all-pro season, I guess, is what you think. You held out briefly in preseason to get more money. And again, this is the top. I mean, come on. What if Cam Hayward have you loved so far this year, along with the rest of the team? So listen. Let me be fair. I'm not going to pick on Cam just yet. Let's get some more comments in. Cody said Pittsburgh Steelers soft as fuck, weak as team, soft as fuck. Phil still says, what's up, TJ Watt fans? Just another great game under the Teflon Dawn. Lindsay says Aaron Rodgers basically said John, who doesn't show up to film yet, he still plays. There's a lot that was said. You're right, Lindsay. There's a lot of things going on with this team, and it makes me think that right now is just probably the worst possible point of the season. And again, here we are, December 1. How many years in a row has December been a complete disaster for this Pittsburgh Steelers team? You almost have to try to do this. Somber says, I think most of us are already falling off the ledge. Into Joe, if the Bengals could beat the Ravens, maybe I think we can beat the Ravens. I thought that Ravens team looked terrible. But you know what? Every time I think of that, and I try to think of many, and I do want to apologize. While I do have people's attention, I made a mistake last week. And I said that the third tiebreaker was, in fact, conference record. It's not. I forgot all about this. It's the common opponents record. So that's where we fell again. So we are down the tiebreaker. I thought it was head to head, then division, then conference, which I think it used to be. And they put in the common opponents record, and that's third. And then the next tiebreaker would, in fact, be the conference record. So, again, if you woke up this morning and was wondering what was going on, that was exactly it. I apologize. I apologize. A total overlook on my part. But so that's where we be, guys. We are tied 6-6 with the Baltimore Ravens, who are 6-6 in first place. We play them next. But at the end of the day, as exciting as that all sounds, is there anything from this team that shows you that there is possibly any life at all that could play semi-productive football in January? I mean, it was the last day in November, and we looked brutal. We looked rough. We looked defeated. How many times during the game did they show Tomlin's face? I mean, I started feeling bad for the guy. I thought, fuck, what? Let me go back to Ginger Joe. He says, if the Bengals can beat the Ravens, maybe we have a chance, but do we really want it? Do we really want one and done again in the playoffs? I'm tired of the embarrassment. Ginger Joe says, just learning again, says 1975 Bills ran for 310. OJ, yes, he did. OJ Simpson did it back 50 years ago, which records were broken last night and everything else, guys. We got a lot to get into. This ended up being a lot more happened in this game than I was expecting. Annie Agar for head coach. Bingo says, Cody says they play Ramsey so far back. Josh Allen didn't throw a single deep pass. And it's another thing. Did you notice? I pointed one play out in particular where two tight ends and one running back all went out into short routes. And every single player, linebacker and defensive back, all had their backs turned, running upfield, chasing guys that were running 30 yards down the field. Now, I know you got to watch, you can't leave no stones unturned, but every pass has been short. I mean, come on. That wasn't the Buffalo Bills that I know and see every year do pass the ball down the field. They are productive. They can score. That was a very light, in app terms, I guess, a very light version of the Buffalo Bills that we seen yesterday. And I guess luckily it was, because we only managed to score 7 points. And they probably should have scored a lot more. But again, they look tired too. Maybe they are just having that down year. But guys, what is there anything you could take away from that game? You could say, man, if we do that a little bit more, we do that a little bit better, just maybe we might be in better shape. They are so down and out, it's not even funny at this point. And that's not just an opinion. Watch this game. The body language, the facial expressions of the coaches. They truly are feeling what we feel, I think. And maybe now starting to feel the frustration. And as RB mentioned on the board, maybe that's making some movements in the in minority management and things like this. And can you say you blame them at this point? I mean, it's historically bad. Historically, again, we've never let up this many. Come on. I'm sure you watched the game and you heard it just like everybody, but we gave up about 249 yards, which is the most ever giving up in Pittsburgh, not just Heinz Field, Acrisure, but back to Three River Stadium. The most ever. Think it's coincidence? All right, let's see what else we got going on here. A lot of interesting posts, guys. I do want to say welcome back. I'm glad to see everybody this morning. I'm glad you're here again to talk me off the cliff, because it sucks, because there's 5 weeks of football left, and you never felt so hopeless after 5 weeks of football left. I've never felt this hopeless at this point in the season. With 5 weeks, 38 days of football games, you should be able to work your way maybe back into a place where. But guys, again, this offense was just downright JV. How can you not be excited to play the Steelers if you're a defensive player? We literally only do two things, and the two things we do don't work compared to the two things the Buffalo did all game that we couldn't stop. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. It's just a mess, guys. Let's move on the board. So much to get into today. I don't want to miss anybody. Right here. All right there. Or right here. We're going to go right here. For everyone, fire everyone, rebuild. It can look worse. It can't look worse than the season. I'd rather lose and have a direction and be at least competitive than win a few games, but ultimately suck. Somber says start Howard for the remainder of the season. Rodgers is broken. The Mason experiment is cooked. I think it's just a matter of time. It better be just a matter of time because if you're out and you have no chance, you better be playing your young people because for one, you didn't get a chance to see him play in preseason due to injury. And for two, if you don't want to have any looks at your rookie quarterback in regular play, then you're out of your mind. You know, everybody's fighting yesterday. I'm on social media. Everyone's fighting. Put Howard in. Well, Howard's not going to save the day. What's Howard? Everyone expect? No, not everyone's not expecting Howard to come in and fucking save the day. I just want to see the guy play. Because now we have bigger issues. Now after the season's over, we have to figure out what we're going to do. Getting a quarterback in place, getting your guy, if you will. I'd like to take a look at the rookie. 6th round guy, okay, whatever. But you know what? It wouldn't be the first time that somebody came out of the 6th round and had some success. I think that some of the better people in the game, we could all agree, came out of the 6th round. And again, nobody's etching him in stone. I just want to take a look at him. That's all. Maybe he comes in and we hate him. Maybe we'll hate him. We're like, look at this shit. So again, for anybody arguing that argument, it's crazy to me. Why wouldn't you want to see the guy play? Why? That's just it. Come on. Cody says range means how Rudolph can throw it into triple coverages. That's a great point, Cody. Who throws overthrows Darnell Washington? It's almost like you have to try to be as bad. Like I said, it really felt like they were fucking with us at some point. It did. And I know that they're not. But, man, how can you be so bad? How? Oh, man. Tortilla says this. Shit, kick Cam again, Josh. I'll kick him. I know. I'll jump that motherfucker. Just Learning says trade Jonnu if he's not being professional next year. I'm saying you got to get rid of Jonnu anyway. You've gotten rid of guys that, come on. Van Jefferson, I'd say, was just about as productive as Jonnu is at this point. Somber says unsportsmanlike flags from our $150 million receiver who doesn't even produce. Not all his fault, obviously, with the difference between him and GP. At least GP would produce. That's right. I knew you were tall, RB. 6'5". Tortilla said, GP said mean words to TJ. Wow, I'm a Steeler captain and I'm soft as shit. Yesterday would have been a great game for him to make a stand and say, look, guys, I'm not having a bad year. But all he did was cemented the fact that he is having a bad year. And they ran the ball at him every single play, it seemed like. And if it wasn't in between the tackles and he was overrunning the play, looking for a sack on run plays, it was containing that outside edge where I can't even count the amount of times that the guys ran the ball for Buffalo right around that right edge. This was just months ago the highest paid player on defense in the league. Lindsay says Ravens suck too. I think we do have a chance. As a matter of fact, unfortunately, I think we have a chance. And I think it's going to give us a little bit more false hope. But it's just at this point in the season with 5 games left, I mean, it is what it is. We got to try to beat Baltimore. We got to try to beat. We got 2 very winnable games coming up. The fact of the matter is this team lost 5 of its last 7, though. I think that tells more of a story than anything. 5 of the last 7 in the middle of the season. Locker room is lost. Absolutely, some of the locker room they're lost entirely. It's going to be almost impossible to get this team back together, especially with only just a little bit over a month left, guys. Once the fans officially sold out to the chants and course, we'll get into all that. So just give me a moment. We'll get into that. Cody says, I don't hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hate this team. If them, absolutely. I totally understand what that means. Absolutely 100% because I'm right there with you. Cody says, I don't hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hate this team, if that makes sense. Yes, it makes tons of sense. Field still says, screw that. We have the best coach ever to coach in the NFL, and his coordinators are the best. The season isn't over. Come on, Teflon Don, you can do it. Another 500 season. O.J. Simpson was the GOAT, man. Cody says, RB says, hey, Wuss and Twat need to follow Tomlin out the door this offseason. I hope we can get out from under that historically bad Twat extension. Just Learning says, it was just windy, man. Somber says, they beat us at our... They did. If that was not the most Steeler game... And, you know, I'm texting the guys during the show, and I said, guys, this is the kind... When we were winning 7-0 and it was the second quarter, I said, this is the kind of game the Steelers needed to happen. They needed a low-scoring, close, ugly kind of game. This is the kind of game that we usually play. We usually win a lot of these football games. But we just stopped scoring, and we stopped doing anything. We stopped doing anything. Again, it was very bad. It was very bad. We're going to get all the numbers, everything today, guys. Somber, they beat us at our own game. Short game, yak, and ran down our throats. They sure did. You can't run down somebody's throat more than what happened yesterday. You can't. And this was with Buffalo Bills missing 2 starting tackles. You know, they had issues of their own. Yes, they're a good running team. Yes, we made a point last week to talk about it. But given the circumstances on the road, you're playing well. You got half your offensive line out. You're playing a team that's generally, you know, a good football team. But we asked, as I'm seeing Cody saying here down the board here. He says, we asked. Nope, we asked, man. Just Learning says AFC up for grabs. No, and that's clear across the board. You look in the NFC, who's the best team in the NFC right now? Chicago Bears. And I got to be honest with you, they only beat us by 3 points. So I kind of look at how we play against people and think, okay, well, this is pretty much how this plays out. If you only beat us by 3 points in this part of the season, maybe you're not that good. Maybe the competition is just not that great this year. Nobody is standing out above everybody else in the NFL. Nobody. And that's what's unfortunate for the Steelers is they're so far off, because if they weren't, they would be just in it as everybody else. But unfortunately, unless they come off and win 5 games in a row to finish up the season, which isn't out of the question, I guess, but anything positive from yesterday would certainly be able to help me make that more of a reality in my mind. There was nothing that I seen that I thought was of good to carry over and keep momentum going. There was nothing. Cody says, fire Tomlin. Bingo says, opposing defenses can run single deep all game and be fine. Zero. I know. Field of Steel says, you can do it. You can do it. Teflon Dawn. Cody says, fire Tomlin. Tortilla, we did good in the first half. We didn't do bad in the first half. We did good in the first half. The defense held their own with wide receivers and getting open. Rodgers couldn't hit any passes downfield. And that's the thing. We don't even try, and when we do, it's with our second quarterback on his first throw of the game, overthrowing a guy that's 9 feet tall into the other guy's hand. I mean, it's a disaster at this point. It really is a disaster. Tortilla finishes that up by saying Roger couldn't hit any more passes down the field. Then we came out in the second half looking like a WNBA team. At least WNBA teams hit. I seen them girls fuck other chicks up out there. Could they come work with our guys? Field of Steel says this bullshit goes until 2028. So go Teflon Dawn. Jamal, my man, what's going on, brother? Always great seeing Jamal on the terrible board. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, sir. Cody says, we are a WNBA team. Jason, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. It's sad. It's so sad. It really is, dude. It's impossible to continue to make excuses for this team. It's impossible. It's impossible. And again, at the end of the week, we'll turn the ship and figure out what it is that we got to do to beat Baltimore, which is a big thing in this season. But again, after what you've seen from this team last night, is there any hope that they could come out in January and come on, let's forget a run, even stay in a playoff game? And let's do move on. Jason says, okay, so Phil still screw that defense, got off the field many times, but Smith sucks, fucks it up with Canada's offense. Unfortunately, Canada's offense was better than this offense with a rookie quarterback and no offensive line. And Deontay Johnson. How are we backsliding with DK Metcalf and an offensive line that had 3 years to gel? I mean, it's literally going in the wrong direction, and it's again, it's I don't have the words. I don't have the words for what it is. Tortilla Smith has wide receivers open. Rodgers couldn't hit them. Rudolph threw into triple coverage. I mean, come on. If you're going to throw into triple coverage, at least throw it high enough to where the guy that's 6'7" can reach it. It was again disaster, guys. Joe, the Steelers defense was on the field a long time. You're right, 18 minutes of offense. It was the lowest. I have it somewhere. Right here. Total time possession. 18 minutes and 1 second, guys. Get this. 18 minutes and 1 second is the lowest amount of possession time for the Steelers since 1983 in a game. And when I say this team is historically bad, this is what I mean. It means we have numbers and things telling us that this is historically bad. 18:01 time of possession, the worst for the Steelers since 1983. That's 42 years ago, if you're keeping track. Let's go right here. Steelers defense was on the field a long time. Buffalo just kept running the ball and converted fourth downs. They were not they weren't into, you know what, early in the game, and I even said this to Mike, we were watching the game briefly. I said they have no respect for our offense at all. They were in our end. They were in Steelers' end going for it on fourth down early in the game, about 2 or 3 yards. They just have no respect because, again, if you don't make it, they had no fear of our offense doing anything, and rightfully so. I mean, we're a bunch of fans, and we see this. I mean, these guys make a lot of money, and they sit in offices for endless hours and dig stuff up and watch what these other teams. This team knows. They knew we weren't going to do anything, and you know what? They were right. And it really feels that the team is thrown in the towel. It really does, guys. Again, the body language, the bickering, the facial expressions of the head coach. I mean, it was bad. It was as rough as. Listen, if you didn't really talk to anybody between now and then, it was as rough as you've seen. It was as rough as you thought it was. Not many so much of a silver lining to take from this, but again, guys, we do carry on. It is Ravens week. We have a big game, and we do have a chance to take first place over again, which I think is a very good possibility. My concern is just down the road. My concern is 39 days from now, after the last game is played by the Steelers, and let's just say they stumble into the playoffs. And I'm going to be honest with you, the hottest team right now in the division looks like the Cincinnati Bengals. Only 2 games back of us, both us and Baltimore, with 5 games left. They play the Ravens again, so it's going to be very interesting, guys. And the team. And one more point I just want to make about our team and everybody we brought in with the Ramseys and the Johnoos and the whole list. We go down them every time. DK. Cincinnati continues to do it with just 2 guys, basically. They have a bad defense just like we do. They find ways to score lots of points. I mean, come on. We could argue that, and even one of the 2 guys that they, is their strength suits, he's been out for, 3 months. So again, what are we doing? Where are we at? How much is actually being done to improve this team? If anything, at this point, the excuses are getting old. It's getting monotonous over and over and over and over and over. Oh, we don't know. We don't know why we couldn't stop the run. We don't know why we had a bad game. Things will get better. No, it's not. It's only been 9 years of this same shit. Feel still 2 turnovers by Steelers defense, 0 points. What the fuck? We barely got any return out of those turnovers. I mean, we move a couple 5 yards, the 3 and outs again. And everybody's going to say, well, I mean, Aaron couldn't get under center. Aaron had to broke. It's true. And that's the risk we take. We want the guy that has the knowledge of the game and the guy that can see things and the guy, that's a risk that we took. But to me, he looked scared shitless early in the game in that pocket. That pocket had wrapped nice. He had happy feet. He kept getting out. He calmed down as the game went on, but I could tell early in the game he certainly didn't want to get hit. He was certainly thinking about the wrist. And then when he got hit later in the game, it wasn't even the wrist. They broke his whole face, it looked like. And again, just not much good that came out of this game yesterday. It felt like an old New England Patriots beatdown. They came to town. They beat our asses. Josh Allen's spiking the ball and yelling and screaming like Tom Brady used to do. And again, this wasn't even a really good playing Buffalo Bills team. It's a struggling Buffalo Bills team, and you could tell. You could see it during the game, and you're thinking, wow, we are lucky that they're playing a bad game because we're staying in it. We're able to stay in this football game. Let me find where we be right here. Hard to adapt to. Teams actually want to play. Dude, Cord Tommy, what's up, bro? Cord Man Tommy, my man. Always great seeing you on the terrible board. Jens Joe wraps it up by saying this isn't how the Steelers play. Fields screwed the defense, got off the field many times. But I'm going to go right here. Jason Atkins, what's up, Jay? Always great seeing Jason Atkins on the terrible board. My man, he says if the draft, where the hell did it go? My board keeps jumbling around on me. Jason says this: if the draft doesn't matter, in the draft, it doesn't matter where you get picked. Jamal says Aaron Rodgers is washed. I agree, dude. We gave it a run for its money. It was kind of the best option we had at a certain point. Once we let everything else go. And another thing, we just don't have any playmakers. We don't, we got solid backfield, but we don't have playmakers. And when I was talking about all the past 2 years about getting that second receiver, you need a playmaker. You need somebody who's going to catch the ball and make a play. How many times do you see that with anybody catching a ball? It's just very, very JV, very stale, very. Again, I would be loving to try to keep my team ready to play this Pittsburgh Steelers team. I think that you certainly, it wouldn't be too difficult at this point. Tortilla says this. He says Howard is mobile too. Phil still says Rodgers is fucking up too. Absolutely, dude. Rodgers, he looked terrible. Come on, the guy. Come on, we're not throwing the ball anywhere. We literally are doing the bare minimum of anything and everything we could possibly do. There's no creativity. There's no anything. Again, we're worse than I thought that we were. Bingo says, being from Ohio, I got my Howard jersey as soon as they announced his number. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. A lot of people did do that. And you know what? I like yourself, I imagine. I can't wait to see him play. Cody says 7 points. Seven, Cody. We were getting on the team because they couldn't score more than 7 points in the first quarter for the last, 61 games? 62 now? Well, they couldn't even get out of the 7, in one game. Phil the Steel also says it's 186 yards total. That's also another historically low number. 249 yards against on the ground at home, most at home since 1975. 166 total yards. That is the least amount of yards an offense has ever got under Mike Tomlin in a game. Was that the most dominating team you've ever seen play us? I don't think so. I think that was a really bad, watered-down version of the Buffalo Bills, as they haven't been great this year and as they've been losing games that they haven't lost in the past. They historically ran more than any player team has ever did against us in our city. And we, again, 166 yards, the lowest amount in Mike Tomlin's history under him as coach, at least at that. But again, guys, still 166 yards, least amount under Mike Tomlin. And again, going back to the running the ball, them setting records running the ball, this is without 2 starting offensive players. You know, when we have one guy out on the starting offensive line, we're like, oh, shit, Siamala's out. Oh, they were losing. They missed two of their starting offensive linemen. and still managed to do something that no team has ever did to the Steelers in the 4-1-2. So let's continue on the board. A lot of interesting things being said today. I don't want to miss any of it, guys. Joe says Rodgers was doing a decent job until he got hit. If you watch the All-22, the receivers weren't getting open. It was pretty much a check down or a tight end. Even that's been all season, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I could totally understand if this wasn't happening all year. But nobody's getting open. And again, it's you got a bunch of little guys. We have a JV team. We really, truly, honestly do. Even then, they were running the wrong routes. That's another thing we're going to get into. Justin says, or Just Learning says, Yinzer Joe correct. Jason says terrible Austin and awful Smith. I like that. Terrible Austin and awful Smith. Tortilla says this: Rodgers missed on every pass. What do you mean? Wide receivers were wide open. There was quite a few of those too. You landed in the basket, or you landed. I mean, come on. There was a few passes. One down the sideline. It was just over the head, I think, of Roman at one. It wasn't good. It wasn't good, guys. Black Magic. Jamal, my man, he says Adams S. Sheffield says that firing is not an option. He's the most coveted coach in the league. I wonder why. And you know what? I'm seeing the same thing. I'm seeing different things. And I think his contract certainly protects him for one, at least for another year and a half, until his contract's up. But also, you're seeing other Rex Ryan, former coach of the NFL. He says, you know what? If he gets fired, he's not going to have any trouble. And you know what? Good for him. And I don't want him to have trouble. I just don't think we're going to get the job done anymore with him. We've had a decade of proof. And if other teams want him, that's wonderful. And I hope they do great things. It's just not happening here. Guys, did you see anything again in that game last night that give you any kind of resurgence of your hope and faith in this team moving forward? They played worse than they did all year at week 13. Again, Bengals hitting their stride. Again, the Steelers looking as bad as they have all year. Again, getting outperformed by Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada's offense. Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada's offense perform better than what we're seeing out here right now. It's truly incredible what's happening right now. Phil Steele says everybody's sucking balls. Everybody. I got to be honest with you. I would get the ball in Mount Washington's hand 10 times a game. Because here's the thing. Let's just say people are prepared. Well, they know he's going to get the ball. You know what? It doesn't matter. They can't tackle the guy. He's a fucking man beast. It doesn't matter if you know that he's coming right at you. Because he's going to run your ass over. Good luck trying to tackle him. I would have special packages for Darnell Washington. I put Darnell Washington in Wildcat. It'd be interesting, right? Maybe he drags 7 guys down the field instead of 3. But again, I think he got 2 catches yesterday. We'll get into numbers and all that in just a moment. Yinzer Joe says everyone wants Howard in. That's insane. Can you see him behind that offensive line? He'd get killed, especially if he doesn't go do any checks or play changes. He's not ready for that heat. And the thing is, Yinzer Joe, I agree, and I think most people agree. He's not going to come in and save the day. But at some point, I like to take a look at him. Is that so? Why I don't understand why everyone jumps to that conclusion when we talk. We want to see the guy play. If I would have seen him in preseason, maybe we'd have a different opinion on it. But we haven't. We didn't see him play one snap. He got hurt and he's been out. So again, calling for Will Howard, I don't think is calling for him to be the savior at this point. I think people could read the writing on the wall. I really do. So at this point, it's almost like we're in that looking towards next year mode as fans. And, I know myself, and again, by what I saw on the television screen, I don't think fans are that excited about what's going on with this football team. Starting out, they booed the Renegade song, which again has become a staple for Pittsburgh Steelers games. And then they go on to chant "Fire Tomlin." Cody says our offense is so goofy, like Rodgers sacked TD Rudolph first pass interception. It was like we got a bunch of guys that don't practice all week and they just show up to play. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? They're on the the list all week. Cam Hayward's on the list all week. He didn't practice because of a rest day. He didn't practice because of this. This is as rough as I've seen it, guys. I've been watching Steelers for quite some time. This is as bad as I've seen it in some time. Kenneth, what's up, dude? I was just thinking about you the other day, man. Hope everything is well for you, Kenneth. Kenneth said Howard should be at least be at number 2. Rudolph is so bad. We put a beat up, hurt Rodgers back in. Jamal says missing half of the offensive line still gives up record-setting rushing yard day. Shaking my head. That's not coaching. That's the team sucks. Just learning says this. He says Rodgers can't see the 5'8" slot receiver. Tortilla Calvin Austin III trying to jump to get a ball will never not piss me off. Zero hope. Somber says on the board, and that's again at 5 weeks left in the season. Zero hope shouldn't be an option. You should say, especially being tied in first place. With the way this team played and the way we feel about them, you would think we're sitting in the basement with the Browns fighting for last. Tyrone, what's up, dude? Great seeing Tyrone. Hope you had a nice weekend, man. He says, fire Mike Tomlin. Cody says, watching our quarterbacks get mad at the wide receivers, at themselves, at the officials for not throwing flags is fucking. It is annoying. And he's a goofball. And I think we all knew this coming in. We knew this was going to be an experiment, and you know. Steeler Freak, what's up, my man? Big John Stud, middle name Mud, clear off from Las Vegas. He says, don't worry, the off season will start soon, and folks can finally go back to fantasy land in the BS fake optimism. Kenneth, my man, says this, the fire coach chants were bad enough, but booing at the players of Renegade speak. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tyrone says his team is awful. Jamal said awful. Cody says, boo that song. Hey, what's up, Donald? Always great seeing Donald Lurie on the terrible board. He said, I honestly can't wait to see Tomlin, Austin, and Smith gone. Just don't see us getting any better. Let me give you some. All right, guys. Listen, let me get you a couple of things here. I mean, there's a lot of people didn't want Tomlin to go. The thing is, I like him as a person. I don't want to say anything bad, but listen to this, guys. If we're thinking about, who will the Steelers get? This is a question that I've heard many a times. Every time a conversation about maybe changing our head coach came about, who can we get to replace Mike Tomlin? Let me give you an example, guys. The new head coaches for these teams made these drastic improvements over the past 2 years. 2 to 3 years. You'll see what I mean in a second. Of course, the New England Patriots were 4-13. 4-13, New England Patriots. Mike Vrabel comes. They're right now 10-2. They were 4-13. Vrabel comes, new coach, 10-2. Jacksonville, they were 4-13. 4-13. Jacksonville also with their new coach Liam Cohn. They are sitting at 8-4. Certainly competing for their division. Let's go to this one. Maybe that didn't sell you. Chicago, they were 5-12. Ben Johnson came. They're 9-3. Dan Quinn last year. This Commanders team. New coach, rookie quarterback. Who cares? NFC Championship game. Yes, they're having a not as good year this year, but after the coach change, Dan Quinn, NFC Championship game, guys. And here's another one, just a year longer, but Denver was bad. You bring in Sean Payton. Guess what? This team is 10-2. A down and out Sean Payton. People say, who wants this guy? All he did was this with the Saints and Drew Brees, blah, blah, blah. So just take those five situations right there and say, hey, you know what? Maybe there is life after Tomlin. Maybe we can get somebody that can be productive. Maybe it might not be the worst thing ever, guys. Again, Mike Vrabel takes the team from 4-13 last year, 10-2 this year. Liam Cohn, Jacksonville 4-13 to 8-4 this year. Ben Johnson, Chicago 5-12 to 9-3 this year. And again, last year, Dan Quinn to the NFC Championship game. And then also again with the veteran coach, Sean Payton, coming in and turning Denver around, having them sitting at 10-2. 10-2. So there's a lot of people who are going to make that argument. Well, who can we get? At this point, it's not going to be the guy that we have. I'm, in my opinion, guys, let's talk football. Anything else throws out the window because, again, nothing else matters. The fact of the matter is, anywhere else, if a team wouldn't have won a playoff game in 10 years, they would probably consider firing their coach. I think we did well accommodating our head coach. I mean, we paid him a lot of money even when we weren't winning. We continue to pay him a lot of money even when we're not winning. And again, he looked defeated. I got to be honest with you. The look on his face didn't make me feel any better about the team getting back into that football game and winning it last night. All right, let's go right here. Or right here. Or right there. All right, let's go here. Donald Lurie. Okay, we got that. Tortilla says, all my homies hate art. Sommer says, Philadelphia Eagle is our best offensive player. You're right. Yinzer Joe says, I'm not one that says fire everyone, but if anyone needs to be, it would be the guy who turned on Renegade. I mean, read the room, man. Well, he was hoping he was saving the day. He was trying to put lighten the damper, I think he was. And then it ended up turning into what it was. And, Cody says, I seen somewhere they only played Renegade to play over the Fire Tomlin chance. Jeez, oh, man. Tyrone Fire, Tomlin Tortilla. Whoever thought of that is restarted. I think that's retarded. I think. Cody says, yeah, Tortilla, I agree. They are restarted. Let's get restarted in here. Tortilla. Woo, Cody. Let's see. Just learning. I need to restart with the babes at work. Get restarted. Cody says they beat our asses. Tyrone, can we restart this franchise? CJD 1993, I do want to say welcome to the terrible board. He says the defensive scheme couldn't stop a parked car. Terrell Austin on the hot seat. Arthur Smith incompetent play calling. Hasn't done anything since he was an offensive coordinator at Tennessee. Did nothing. He did nothing in Atlanta. 3, 7, and 10 seasons. And again, come on, if you have a Derrick Henry in Tennessee, you kind of have a little bit of an advantage. I just wonder how great that Tennessee experience would have been if that particular running back wouldn't have been there at the time. Again, to me, it seems like you're right. 7 and 10, 3 years in a row in Atlanta. He got that head coaching position, and that's we're seeing what Smith is right now, and it's not good, guys. It's not good. Bingo says I hate to say it, but it's to the point that if it looks like we will win, it's like somehow disappointing. Like it justifies their bullshit excuse for football. Cord Tommy says sucks to have to play shotgun all game because of AR. I mean, how much of that was going into that? I mean, on the fumble it was. I mean, you're trying to hold the ball. You have the ball in your right hand, and you usually have that left hand to hold it and guide it in place. When he got that strip sack, the scoop and score, that's what it was. Couldn't hold on to that ball right. And then you have it in the back of your mind, fuck, my wrist is broke. If I get hit, this is, so again, disaster. I think there was a snap that Rodgers was chasing a little bit because it was bad. It was a whole bad thing that was going on yesterday. Let's stay on right here though. Stay on track. Tortilla, can we go back to last checkpoint? Matt Canada 2.0. Tyrone is saying, I thought Kenny P was the quarterback. There's no difference, guys. Kenny Pickett might as well be the quarterback. He was literally, he didn't get the touchdowns, but the team was actually better. And the team had a line that wasn't quite built yet. And the team, again, had Matt Canada. Can we just go back to those days? Lindsay says Josh Allen could suck it if his defense didn't score. That game wouldn't have been like that. You're right. Tortilla says we might as well put Gainwell wide out. You know what? At this point, you might as well. He's gonna be your receiving leader at the end of the year. I promise you. Unless he gets hurt. Come on, DK did go back up yesterday, but again, just the way this offense runs, we literally do nothing. This offense does nothing. You watch this offense do nothing for 3 hours, and you're making scenarios in your head. Okay, well, if they get this first down, and we get in the field goal range, it just never happens. You have no you have no playmakers at your wide receiver positions. I mean, come on, Metcalf is your best player, and I don't think it's crazy to say he's not having his greatest season ever. And again, you bring in all these tight ends, and you're not even using them. Pat Fryermuth, he was down, his snaps were down. I have the snap count somewhere around here, and I looked at him, it had Darnell Washington getting most of the snaps at tight end, Jonnu getting the second most snaps from tight end, which again, I literally have seen Jonnu Smith do nothing this year that makes me happy. Nothing. He had a little Chase Claypool thing going on there earlier in the year. I think they did a jet sweep and he scored a touchdown and maybe another touchdown through the air. But come on, this guy. This was the playmaker that was supposed to be in place of a wide receiver, a playmaker, if you will. So you're seeing how that's playing out, guys. A lot of things to get into. Let me take a look through my notes here. Okay, so we did have Asante Samuel. He was involved last in the game yesterday. He got activated heading into the game this week. Asante Samuel. So I guess all hands on deck. Maybe get the extra talent. It doesn't matter who we add to this team. It doesn't literally matter who we add to this team at this point. This is what we're getting. We've literally added we're playing Madden. Hey, give me DK, give me Jonnu Smith, give me Aaron Rodgers, give me the whole way down the list. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What do we got to do to play better? What do we got to do to win? Unfortunately, we don't know. This team has zero idea. Even Andy Reid got fired from Philadelphia. A couple more. We'll get into some stuff here. There we go. Tyrone's where did he go? Where did you go? Tyrone says Matt Canada 2.0. Thought Kenny Pickett, Lindsey, might as well put Gainwell. Bingo says this at halftime. I wasn't smiling, just kind of staring at the TV. I know it was such a hopeless feeling. You're watching this disaster, and again, you could read the writing on the wall. Nothing was looking good. They don't even attempt to look good. Do you think that team expected to win that football game yesterday? These are professional football players in a multi-billion-dollar industry. Was that the performance, the worst performance that you've seen of 53 millionaires professionally doing their job? Again, early in the game when it was 7-0, I was guilty. I thought that we had a hope. And again, I always have a theory. Keep it low scoring, keep it close, keep it ugly. These are the kind of games that the Steelers are always in and find a way to win a lot of them. Well, guess what? As they mentioned on TV yesterday, that the Buffalo Bills out-Steelered the Steelers. Because that wasn't the Steelers. Whatever the fuck that was that we seen yesterday was not Steeler football. And going back to history with all these numbers shows you that's not Steeler football. Tyrone says defense gave offense so many chances, couldn't even get a first down. Okay, Tyrone. Also, Tyrone says, I'm glad they was chanting fire Tomlin about time. And I want to say, if you're a Tomlin fan, I mean, that's, good for you. I want, again, nothing better for the guy. If he would go elsewhere and win a Super Bowl, I'd be so happy. I would. I'd say, look at that. That's our ex-coach. That's our, good for him. But it's just not working here, and it hasn't for almost a decade. Again, it's almost impossible to defend the guy at this point. It's almost impossible. Tyrone, I'm really thinking about buying tickets for the Miami game. Hey, you should, man. It'll be a fun time. You're gonna have a blast. If you go up to the game, you're gonna have a blast. Field of Steel says, wait, 166 yards, Phil. We got 166 yards on offense. The lowest amount. I don't know. It's been some time. Oh, under Tomlin. The lowest amount of yards ever under Mike Tomlin. Joe says the problem is we have seen this team play good, cohesive football at times. We know and feel they have it in them. It's just frustrating when they don't do the things that they can do to win. I agree. True Thong, again, I love the name. True Thong is back on the terrible board. TJ Watt is stealing money. Right? This whole team is. You know what it is? I gave the analogy last week, the Olive Garden with us talking to Lindsay, and I said, you know what? Would you keep continuing to pay top prices for your dinner if there was something wrong with it every time you went? One time the order was wrong. Second time there was a hair in it. The third time, you either get vocal, you let them know that you're dissatisfied, or you don't go back. Well, we're letting them know we're dissatisfied into the level now to where they have to pay attention, and they are paying attention. And as RB said on the board earlier, they are certainly paying attention. Certainly a lot of chatter going around with the minority owners this morning. I'm hearing that as well. Now we're getting to the point where they're basically spitting in our food. It feels like. Tyrone said it ain't the fault. It ain't the fault. LOL. He's never had an offense since Ben. Cody says, Tyrone, why are you going to waste money? Truth says Tomlin is 6-11 in his last 17 games going back to. Let that sink in. It's incredible. Tomlin is 6-11 in his last 17 games. That's his last season's worth of games played. That don't look like 500 to me. Tyrone, I just want to say fired Tomlin too. Yeah, I know. John Steeler Freak says, I'm glad the fans aren't holding back anymore. Tomlin deserves the heat, and so do the Roonies. I agree. We have a problem. We have a problem. And it's not a year down. It's not a year we haven't played good. It's not a season that's something there was an incident that effed up the season. It's not that. This is a collective decade of subpar football, in my opinion. Some may call 500 a good thing, but if that's all you do, 500 is just above losing football. If you're not doing anything else with that, it's just playing right above losing football. You're getting the numbers, but you're not even exactly playing great. So, Somber says Howard will get killed. Are Aaron and Mason not getting killed? At least Howard can scramble and help himself. Well, I mean, in Somber, at the end of the day, again, it just won't hurt to see him play. I want to see the guy take a snap. I want to, again, that's all. Am I predicting he's going to come and save the day? Hell no. Far from it. But again, we're going to have to make some decisions here in April. And if we decide that we're going to have to go after the guy in the first round, or whenever we're going to have to go after our quarterback, it's going to be nice to at least have a little bit of tape of Will Howard playing in the pros as reference, of course, right? Cody says TJ Watt sucks yesterday. He missed tackles. Bro, he was running past tackles. He was blowing by guys, expecting to get a sack on a run. Again, he didn't. That outside. How many times did we give up that outside on the right? In the pros, that is so rare to see a guy being able to control the outside like that, because guys are so fast. In the NFL, it's almost impossible to allow somebody to have that much outside success against you. High school, you see it because guys are slow. College, you see it because they're not quite pros yet. But how often in the NFL do you see a running back or a running game just control the outside edge like that all game? A few more here, and then we're going to get into some numbers, topics, things like that. A lot still to get into today, guys. As this does start Ravens week. The Ravens are 6-6. They are also 6.5-point favorites at home against the Steelers, who are coming to town on Sunday at 1:00 in this Week 14 matchup. We'll get into some scores. We'll get into some numbers, some stats, player stats, all these things. But let me grab some more of the messages on the board. Tortilla, stay off the weed, man. Truth Thong, Tomlin's a fraud, still living off a reputation built by Bill Cowher's players and coordinator from 15 years ago. Tortilla says TJ PFF grade is probably 99 because he almost made every play. He almost made a play. Cody says this, if Tomlin is so coveted, trade his ass for a first round pick. Yeah, we'll see his value when it comes time to do something. And again, I'm sure there's a lot of teams that would love to have him, and I'm sure, again, he's just it's not here. Did you see the look on the poor guy's face on the sideline, guys? He was stumped. He was clueless. He looked like he didn't want to be there. I mean, you can't get upset because people were upset that they're paying top dollar for you to not perform your job well and continuously do so. So that shouldn't be it. There was an absence. You looked at the guy's eyes on the sideline, man. There was not much there. Tyrone says, "Yeah, this game might. Game maybe. LOL. Oh wait, another year no offense. Shocker. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do anything crazy. I wouldn't make any crazy moves, truth. But you know what I mean? If you stick Darnell Washington in the backfield, what's it going to hurt? Let's see a play. I hate everything's a process. Well, we gotta, it's gonna be a couple weeks of practice because he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's a football player. Hand him the ball and let him run. That's what he does best. He's 330 pounds, for crying out loud. And again, you've seen the way guys bounce off of him. It's at this point, what's it gonna hurt? We don't do anything else. That's what I'm saying. It's just so stupid. Well, we can't do this because we can't. Obviously, what we're doing isn't working. I would hand it off to the guy that's 6'7" and 311 pounds in a minute, in a second. I'm not going to name him my starting running back, but I guarantee you're going to see some shit. True says Debo for new head coach. You know what? We talked a little bit about that last week. Maybe we'll get Debo and get Ben. Get some new offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators next year. Bingo says, in all fairness, KP won a playoff game with the Eagles and has a ring. In a way, yes, I guess that is true. Bingo. Cord man, fuck it, Ryan. Let's I'll get drunk. Let's go. I'm down. Tyrone says from 22 to 25, better praise TJ. LOL. Only reason Tomlin got a job. Bingo, a small ring for his tiny hands, but a ring nonetheless. Somber says the Bills' 249 yards were the most by an opposing team in Pittsburgh since the Buffalo Bills rushed for 310 yards in 1975 at Three River Stadium by O.J. Simpson led the Buffalo Bills with 227 yards. That's true. It's the most ever against the Steelers. Was that the most dominating team you've ever seen here? Certainly wasn't mine. And again, guys, we managed to get, what was it, 100, 180 yards? I had it somewhere. I talked about it earlier. 166 yards, which is the lowest total amount of offense ever output under Tomlin. Kenneth says the difference between Howard and the other two is his ability to run. That's what I'm saying. Let's see it. I don't understand what people are hell-bent about not being able to take a look at the guy. I mean, do we really believe he's going to come in and just F everything up? We have two other guys that are doing that really well. Maybe he'll bring some pop to the team. Again, some of these other teams, if you add a new coach, you just add a new atmosphere. And again, Mike Vrabel took the team from 4-13 to 10-2. Liam Cohn takes his team Jacksonville from 4-13 to 8-4. Ben Johnson takes the Chicago Bears from 5-12 to 9-3 currently. Dan Quinn last year took the terrible Redskins for years to the NFC Championship game. Sean Payton, Denver was down and out. They're 10-2. So sometimes that change of scenery, it does it. You get a new person that comes along and they bring a new energy. Team buys into it. You see it all the time in all sports. Come on. Tyrone said this offense trying to like Kenny. This offense looked like Kenny's poverty offense. James Cook is. You know what? James Cook was a beast. No two ways about that, man. I was very, very impressed, and especially being behind a beat-up offensive line. And Josh Allen wasn't himself. I mean, it was a running team. That team is usually a Josh Allen team. The guy has scored 6 touchdowns and throwing 4 and running for 2. And he did his damage. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's not a running team in that sense. Yes, they are the best running team in the league. But again, just a shell of what the Buffalo Bills usually are. And it showed that they were one of the better running teams. Again, even with 2 offensive linemen out, James Cook is a beast. I agree, Tortilla. Lindsay says, I think fans will expect Howard to come in and save us, but that's not really fair to put it. It's not. And I don't even think that's realistic. But you are right, Lindsay. People are going to expect that. And again, the guy never played a single snap in the NFL, not even preseason. So I don't know where that's all coming from in people's minds. Cody says, who cares if he's ready to play or not? I mean, you're right. Some of these guys, they get thrown in with the Wolves. Let the guy take a few snaps, some meaningful snaps. I don't understand what that hurts. On shitty teams anyway, so I'm not asking him to save the day, but we already know Rodgers and Rudolph is why not see what he can do. Absolutely. Jason says what's crazy is we were averaging 25 points per game and then just crumbled. Tyrone says good chant. That shit is I'm on SeatGeek now. Also, Tortilla says, even if Howard sucks, I'd rather make the change, rather try something different at this point. Do you really want to salvage what we have? I mean, is what we have, is this what we're satisfied with? I kind of feel that we're already in the looking forward. Let's put it this way. They could beat the Ravens. I think it's totally possible. I seen the Ravens play the other day, and this team is probably playing about as well as we are. They could probably beat Miami, which, again, Miami's starting to pick it up. So, losing another night game this season, which would be 4 for 4, would sure be shitty. But you know what? They're playing better football, and they're winning football games now, the Dolphins. So, and then you got the Lions, the Browns, and the Ravens. So technically, if it was any given year, I would say there's a good chance we could go 4-1, 3-2. I'm really skeptical. I don't know if we can. Again, teams that are beatable team, we're not playing good football. I thought the Bears was a beatable team for us last week. We're not playing good football. Again, very, very JV, in my opinion. If you're watching the offense try to do anything over the weekend, very JV and very embarrassing. And you know what? Everybody in the league is laughing at us. They truly are. Look around the league, go on some threads from other cities and teams that we play, and just see what they're saying about us. I don't think you're going to be surprised, but I think you'll be surprised. Let's go right here. And then we are going to get into some numbers here in about 3 seconds. Just let me grab a couple more messages. Truth says guys are happy with their money, don't care about winning. Rich. And here's the thing, too. Let me ask you this. If you're at your job and people are booing you and it's cold and you're a millionaire, putting my body out on the line for you isn't probably one of my highest priorities. They're human beings. And a lot of players, they understand the writing on the wall, and it's toward the coach and toward this, and it's not toward them. But at the end of the day, why put my millionaire body on the line on this cold December day for you if you're booing us? So again, this whole thing just has meltdown all over it, and maybe this is just the aftermath of what the total teardown should have been last year. But we tried to do this again. Turned into the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Miami Heat and just brought everybody in from everywhere and thought it was going to work and hoped it was going to work, and it just didn't work, guys. Again, this whole thing might just need to be uprooted and started over from scratch. I'm not seeing anything else that would make me think otherwise. I'm just not. I'm trying, but the Steelers are making it harder to defend them week in, week out in the NFL, guys. Let's get to some numbers. I think it's time. Let's take a look at how the Steelers played this week. We're going to look at the player stats. We're going to look at team stats. We're also going to get into scores around the league and so many sub-stories, guys. Cam Hayward getting into with Josh Allen. That's a story. There's a lot of things, guys, we're going to get into here. And again, a lot of finger pointing after the game and overnight. Matter of fact, there was even a nice battle between the former Steeler and a current Steeler on Twitter. But first, we're going to go to the Steelers, the numbers for the game yesterday, guys. And they go a little something like this. All right, so for the team statistic for the game, 372 yards for the Buffalo Bills, 166, a historic low for Mike Tomlin's teams. Again, the lowest amount of yards ever in a Mike Tomlin coached game. 166 yards for the home team. 123 passing yards. Again, this was not a Josh Allen's going to dominate your team kind of day. It wasn't. That should have made it one-dimensional, which should have made it more winnable, I guess the word really would be. But again, if Josh Allen throws for 123 yards, guys, you know that they're going to run the ball. And they did. Over and over and over and over and over and over. To the point that the just as a few months ago, the richest, highest paid defensive player in the league, says, we have no answer. We didn't know what to do. That's not good, guys. That's not good. We don't have answers. Let's continue. 249 rushing yards again. The most ever in Pittsburgh by an opposing team. Passing O.J. Simpson from 1975, 50 years ago. Who would have thought 50 years ago when O.J. was running for 200 and some yards and we were inventing the terrible towel, that 50 years on the dime that it would be where we are right now, and that record would be getting broken, and Yards per play, the Buffalo Bills had 5 yards per play, Steelers 3.9. First downs, the Buffalo Bills 26 first downs, the Steelers 10. Third down efficiency, 8 for 16. For Buffalo, over 50%. And for the Steelers, we were 3 for 9, 33% on third down. Fourth down conversions, 2 for 2 for Buffalo, 0 for 1 for the Steelers. Get this. Hold on. Hold on to your seat. Ready for this? Total plays, Buffalo 74, the Steelers 43. 74 to 43. Good luck trying to find one player or one reason. This is just a bad system, guys. We got sacked. We didn't sack them at all. We had to punt the ball 4 times. They only punted twice. Penalties. There were some questionable penalties throughout the course of the game, but as far as the numbers go, we had 5 against us for 67 yards. They had 7 against them for 45 yards. They both lost a fumble and lost an interception. We both lost a fumble and lost an interception as well. 2 for 4, Buffalo was in the red zone, and 1 for 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers were from the red zone. And time of possession, guys, one more time, 41-59 for Buffalo, 18-01 for the Steelers. The lowest time of possession by a Mike Tomlin coach team. Let's get into some player stats. Let's start off with our guys. Aaron Rodgers went 10 for 21, 117 yards. At a 65 rating. Mason Rudolph goes 0 for 3 with an interception. Jaylen Warren on the ground. The heavy ground attack. 10 carries for 35 yards. Gainwell, 5 carries for 20 yards. Even Caleb Johnson had a couple carries, 3 yards. By yard, the leading receiver of the day was Darnell Washington, guys, with 2 catches for 45 yards on the day. DK Metcalf, 3 catches for 32 yards. Kenneth Gainwell, again, he drops. He was tied with DK Metcalf for the lead for the receivers on the squad. Gainwell, 2 catches, 25 yards. Below that, Warren had 2 for 9. Jonnu, 1 for 6. Roman, Calvin, and Ben, 0, 0, 0. 0.00. That is 3/5 of our wide receiver room. Scotty Miller's out with a finger. Those 3 guys didn't produce a single catch. In our number 1 receiver, 3 catches, 32 yards. Defense, Ramsey led the way with 9 total tackles on the day. 6 solo, 3 assisted. Y.A. Black forced a fumble. Nick Herbig also forced a fumble, which PQ recovered that fumble. I'm sorry. One of the bright spots, Brandon Eccles, he had something. What do you have? He had an interception. Kick returns, it was nice to see Williams back there, and also it was nice to also see Waitman being able to boot the ball a little further. Last week he averaged 35 yards per kick. He was certainly kicking it more yesterday, kicking it with more distance yesterday, as he averaged for the day, guys, 40.2 yards, up from that 35 from last week. Let's jump over and take a look at what the Buffalo Bills did, if we may. Josh Allen, again, guys, not a great day. I mean, 15 for 23, 123 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not very Josh Allen type numbers. But James Cook, on the other hand, having an O.J. Simpson kind of day. Not quite as much. It was a combined 249 yards, but James Cook had 32 carries, 144 yards on the day. Davis, 9 carries, 62 yards on the day. Even Josh Allen, 8 carries for 38 yards on the day with a touchdown. Their receivers was led by by number 88, Knox. He had 3 catches for 28 yards. Cook, 3 catches, 33 yards. Still nothing great. Nothing that you really would feel that this team should have came in and dominated. They played a bad game and dominated us. Not beat us, they dominate us. It's and a lot of it was due to us. Our inability to do anything. Guys, have you seen a football team ever play like this? What is going on? And with that being said, notice the league is kind of playing like this. Notice it's not weird to see a bunch of teams just pass the checkdowns all day. Is this just where the league's going and we're just not really good at it? I could have swore this was a passing league just 2 years ago. And as far as the stats for them, that looks like it's about it, guys. We're about the halfway point. So what I'm going to do today, right now, is go through the scores of the day. Still got so much more to get into as we get into some of these storylines in this back half of the show today. Again, Cam Hayward versus Josh Allen. This will be we'll be getting into that in just a second. Let's go through these scores though to get caught up, just to see where we're at. There is a Monday night football game tonight, and that will wrap up week 13. That game is between the Giants and the Patriots. It's New England. Game time is 8:15 on that tonight. Let's blow through these other scores for the weekend and go from there, guys. The Packers, of course, beats the Lions 31-24 on Thanksgiving. The Cowboys beat the Chiefs 31-28 on Thanksgiving. And the Bengals, of course, we all remember, it was a great moment on Thanksgiving evening. Bengals 32, Ravens 14. On Friday, the Bears beat the Eagles 24-15. Let's get into Sunday football in the NFL, guys. On Sunday, the Dolphins win another game, 21-17 over the Saints. The Dolphins improved to 5-7. The Dolphins are 1 game less than we are. The Dolphins. Which means if we lose, which means next week's game against Miami, they might be able to pass us, the Dolphins. So, guys, this is what is going on with our squad. It's not good. It's not good. A lot needs done. There's not a Band-Aid that could fix this problem. And by all means, I mean, if you have one, let somebody know, because there's just no Band-Aid. This thing has to be uprooted, in my opinion. Let's get back to these scores. I do apologize, guys. The Texans, they get the win over the Colts. The Jets get the win over the Falcons. 49ers beat the Browns. The Panthers over the Rams, 31-28. Jacksonville 25. The Titans 3. Tampa Bay 20. Arizona 17. Seahawks 26. They have a shutout over Minnesota. 26-0. The Chargers beat the Raiders 31-14. And then last night on Sunday Night Football was the Broncos versus the Commanders. That was a overtime finish. The Broncos win that by a point, 27-26 over the Commanders. There's one thing I do want to say about Denver. They got a really nice defense. Don't get me wrong. And they have a guy who's really Troy Polamalu-like. If you guys like Troy and want to get a look at the guy, I can't remember what his name is. He's number 9 in the secondary for the Broncos. He plays, he moves, he looks, he tackles. He's very, again, if you like Troy Polamalu, number 9 for Denver will certainly grab your attention. I think he's like from Hawaii, perhaps. I don't know. He has the hair and everything going on. They went on and on comparing him with Troy, but just interesting. If you like Troy, and you like him playing, this guy would certainly put you in mind of Troy Polamalu, as he did I. Again, Broderick Jones out for the season, guys. He did not play. He went out with the Stingers last week. He is done for the year. No Broderick Jones. I thought Andrews Pete looked all right. I mean, he didn't get us killed on the backside tackle. Also, the other injuries from the game yesterday. Patrick Queen with a hip contusion. He tried to come back in the game, and then he left again. And again, James Pierre went down with a concussion. He's on concussion protocol moving forward, as the Steelers are going to be getting ready for this game against the Ravens, which, these guys want to beat us bad, and they want to make the playoffs. They want to be the team to win the division, and they were the team that was 1-5 when we were 4-1. And, so this team is going to come to play football. Which one of these two teams are going to be able to get up for it is the question, because they're both rough at this point. It's going to be interesting to see. let's do move on. We talked about the booing. We talked about the fire Tomlin. Cam Hayward. Who wants to talk about a little Cam? You want to talk a little Cam? A little Cam Hayward. Let's get into why he was pissed off. Yeah, I thought it was a little excessive. I thought at some point, maybe he was trying to pump the team up, get the team fired up. But at some point, bro, you're going to piss off the quarterback of the other team. And in my opinion, I don't think that's a great. It's like pissing off Tom Brady in my sense. I think that this dude can beat us very easily. But again, he looked down. His team looked down. They let us in the game. They let us hang around. We laid an egg. Listen, that's an egg. If anybody wants to know what laying an egg is, what we did yesterday was laying an egg. A goose egg's a 0, but an egg is what the hell that was. Whatever the hell that display was. That was an egg. But let's get into what's going on with Cam. And if I could find it, between Cam and Josh Allen. I don't know where I put it. I'm getting there. Believe me. Let's see. My notes tell me that I have it here. But my screen's telling me otherwise. Well, anyway, without going verbatim, the fact of the matter is, when asked what the problem was, Cam Hayward said that he was so upset because Josh Allen kicked him in the stomach. And in my opinion, if this happens, which again, it's football, you got kicked in the stomach, bro. I'm sure Josh Allen didn't say to himself, you know what? This game is so close and so tight. I'm going to go and I'm going to kick Cam Hayward right in the stomach. Maybe risk a penalty. Maybe come on. So Cam goes on and on. I almost like he called his mom a bad name the way the Cam was fired up. So then I continue to watch what Cam Hayward is able to do against Josh Allen, and Cam Hayward's getting tore up. Josh Allen runs him over. He didn't even have his running back run over Cam Hayward. Josh Allen ran over Cam literally on the next 3 plays. And then he gets up and he's yelling and screaming, and somebody on the team had to take control of that situation. When Joey Porter was going on and on and on, I think at some point he even had a penalty called. I don't remember the situation. There was just so much bullshit that was happening at one time. Somebody on that defense should have stepped in and say, dude, you got to shut the fuck up. You complaining and arguing and going after this guy play after play after play is not going to bring a win. That's going to do nothing but benefit this team. So again, there's that leadership. Anybody should have stepped up at that point, guys, but that did not happen, as it went on. It went on and on all game. Again, he came out after halftime and was still in a bad mood and still bitching and crying and complaining about it. So again, whether one, he's either trying to pump his team up, 2, maybe he really was that pissed, or 3, again, if you're mad for getting an accidental kick in football, maybe you shouldn't be making all that money. I don't know. There's got to be some risk, right? Shit. Let me just scroll back a little bit. If I could find these numbers, I will give them to you. I swear. I swear I will. You want to get into this one real quick while I'm looking? Here it is. I found it. All right. Bear with me, guys. Cam Hayward plays pissed off. This is after the game. Hayward explained where his anger toward Allen came from. Hayward said his anger toward Allen stemmed from being kneed in the stomach. Like being kneed in my stomach is what he said. He said he was ticked off the entire game because as a quarterback, they're protected. But I'm not, Cam says. Of course, the Steelers got a free shot of him when he slid in the game later. Cam says, it just pisses me off. It just pisses me off to get accidentally kneed in the stomach. Asked to clarify if what he was saying is that Josh Allen kneed him, Hayward empathetically replied, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. He did say that it was one of the one incident, but confirmed that it was but confirmed that it was intentional and that Allen said after, "I had to do something to get you off me." Of course, this wasn't even a Josh Allen game since Hayward Steelers couldn't stop the Bills' rushing attack. In fact, Pittsburgh, okay, and then they go into all the numbers we lit up, blah, 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 blah. Let me get back on the board. Let's see what's going on the terrible board, guys, and we will continue. We got a lot of things to go over today. We do still have grades. We have to even name a game ball, if you can even imagine. A lot of things still going on today, guys. So do stick around. Yeah, with 650 going toward, bro, the missed tackles on this team are unbelievable. This team does not want to play football. This team does not want to put their $1 million bodies on the line in December. This team does not. They just don't. Find me any writing on the wall that tells me I'm wrong, please. Listen. It's not because I want to debate you. I just want to know. Is it out there? Truth Long says, Asante Samuel always afraid his spine will snap, but don't want to say, absolutely. It's another bonehead move by the Steelers. Let's go out and get a guy that just had spinal fusion 6 months ago. Jeremy Olson, I do want to say welcome to the show. He says bench Mason. I'm sorry, put him on the practice squad 100 and put Howard as your number 2 quarterback so he can get some practice time before next year. I think it's stupid not to. I think it's truly, honestly stupid. The fact that that it's not even. Let's keep him at number 3 for what at this point. Donald says the Tennessee Titans offense is the only one worse than the Steelers, and that's just barely. How embarrassing, because that is a bad football team. TJ Watch just shit in the bed, Truth says. Kenneth says, with the absence of the passing game, why haven't we activated Scantling? It's a process. The whole thing's a process. Like I said, if you're in a situation and you're down, I would put Darnell Washington at Wildcat just to see how a team responds. Put him back at one play out of nowhere. You come out from the huddle, and Big Mount Washington steps up behind, in the pistol, just to see how they react. There's got to be a process. It took 3 years to let the guy play. So, that's really showing me that I'm not showing you why we shouldn't be surprised that Juan Valdez-Scantling isn't playing yet. It only took 3 years to get Mount Washington involved, and he's still not even getting 2 catches yesterday, 2 touches all game. That guy, the guy that nobody could tackle on a football field gets 2 touches. It's insane what's going on with this team, guys. Mark Malone, what's up, my brother? Always great seeing Mark Malone. He says, have to get rid of the Rooney Ruler to win, man. There's no other way. Truth says, stadium full of depressed zombies. Then it gets worse. They play Renegade. Kenneth Jones says, defense had to be exhausted. They played 42 minutes out of. I know. It's historically bad. We were under the impression that this was supposed to be an historically good defense, guys. Jeremy says this, fire Tomlin, hire Ryan Day. Well, I've heard that before. Ohio State coach, of course. I don't know much about Ohio State. I'm not an Ohio State guy, but they do a lot of winning. But you know what? Is that the program, though? That's one thing I always am concerned about Ohio State stuff, because they have a lot of money and they make things happen. And if it's program, is it program? Is it program? If it's this guy is truly mad talented, who knows? It's hard to tell with these bigger colleges sometimes, or with these more successful colleges, if you will. Truth says there was only one chubby lady who was really into Renegade and waving her trip. I seen her. She was really into it, man. And listen, I'm not going to take anybody. The thing is, and I always go on about this about fans, and everybody's a different kind of fan. I get it. I'm a hopeless romantic when it comes to my team. I'm hearing all these people saying, I'm out on this team. What does that mean? Does that mean you really thought that this team had a chance to go to the Super Bowl as of yesterday? I'm going to watch my football team till the end. I don't know. I watch 17 football games and they come around once a year, and it's just going to be the way it is. What this giving up, what this I'm out means, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Tyrone says we ate the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ryan. We're the Pittsburgh Squealers. We are the Pittsburgh Squealers, Tyrone. Somber says, how many teams have broken offensive records on the most expensive? It's every game. Lindsay says she paid her money to. Yeah, that's what, and you're right, Lindsay. And Lindsay brought me back down to the earth on that, actually, because I do. I've always been. People are different. There's different kind of fans. People are passionate. Some people aren't. And you go to social media, you see people that are passionate giving it to the people that really aren't, who's just trying to support their team. And then they start, what kind of fan are you? Are you stupid? No. But you're right. She paid her money too. Why is she any different? Mike Tallman. Hey, what's up, Mike Tallman? On the board. Always great seeing the great Mike Tallman. He says, preheat the oven if you want to eat the muffin. Preheat the oven if you want to eat the muffin. Yeah. He's here. Also, True says 650 didn't include parking and beer. Damn, bro. That's a lot. True says tickets might be half price after the Ravens game. They're going to try to pinch every penny out of you they can, believe me. They've been doing it for 10 years. Why change? It's just now we're getting vocal and they're going to be forced to make a move. Cody says, Mike Tallman, don't expect it not to smell if you don't flush the toilets. Jeremy says, this Ryan Day from Ohio State would be the best fit for Pittsburgh, I believe. At 70s Bluesville, I do want to say welcome to the terrible board at 70s. Nice to see you, sir. He says, Will Howard and Darnell coming out of the backfield with 4 something, anything. You know what I mean? Something to provide us evidence that there's some kind of life left on this team. I don't know that there is. Lindsay says, Rooney can go too. Cody says, where's Jamal at, man? Leave my man alone. Truth says this, what if they beat the Ravens? I don't think it matters. You know what, though, Thong? If they beat the Ravens, we're back in first place. And you got to have that conversation because, again, if we're going to be in first place when this thing wraps up, there's going to be more to this season. And as odd as that is, it's kind of where we're at. So, I mean, I won't stop watching until the end. Again, it's not because I'm stupid and I think we're going to do great things. It's because, again, it's my football team. And what does that mean? I'm out. Means you're not a fan anymore? Or you're just done watching? Maybe you're not hopeful anymore. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're just not as hopeful. I don't know. Again, I just somber. Also, teams have no film on Howard. Lindsay said he's done with the Tallman hate. Trade TJ is what Cody's saying. I mean, we could stir up a lot of money. We could have a lot of money for other things. Maybe if he didn't have the guy that you're paying the money to TJ Watt money, guys. Come on. What's he doing? What did he do yesterday? What's he done this season? That money could certainly be going to better use. And if you have a guy like Nick Herbig that could seamlessly come in and take that position, that might not be the worst idea moving forward, guys. TJ's long and lanky, and that kind of makes him slow in a way. Where Herbig, he got them low legs, man. I don't know. TJ's lanky. In the sense that it takes him longer to move, I think, just because his extremities are longer, it seems. But the hell do I know? Tyrone says, Tomlin head coach ass. Truth says, hate the chubby lady who loves the Renegade. He hates that lady. Mike Thomas says, I'm the GOAT. Lindsay says, trade Cody. 70 Blue says they ran all day. 2 plays. And the guy that was making the most money as a defensive player just 6 months ago says we had no answer for it. We did not have, and we don't know how to stop it. That's not good. Cody says, yes, I am the GOAT. True says this, Tomlin is a Hall of Fame coach, thanks to Bill Cowher. Kenneth says TJ is giving up because he knows between offense and other defense teammates he could have 4 sacks and it won't matter. And that's another thing. He's getting so double teamed and chipped and triple teams. Why aren't other guys getting sacks? That should free up somebody somewhere. What happens when you double team somebody on defense? You're in coverage. Guess what? That means a guy's open. What happens when you bring pressure and you use extra guys to blitz? That leaves people open. Why is nobody able to take advantage of TJ being double, triple, quadruple? You know what I mean? 0 sacks. Again, very, very little pressure on this beat up offensive line of the Buffalo Bills. Joe, Pittsburgh's organization doesn't listen to us. How long have we been chanting fire? You know what? I again though, they took over the stadium with booing the Renegade and fire Tomlin chants. I think that's something. Again, I think they have to listen. They're going to continue to put asses in seats, but you know what? That stadium could empty just as fast as any of the rest of them, guys. I think they're listening. Again, mentioned earlier on the board, RB was hearing some chatter from some things about the minority owners on the team. So it's kind of interesting to keep our eye on at this point. TJ Watt, 1-11, by the way, without him. Tyrone says, YK, what? Yeah, trade him. Jamal says, get off TJ's contract, get off DK's contract, and rebuild. That's a lot of money, man, going into no results at all. Tyrone says this, so my dog actually has a chance to win something. Tortilla, TJ got to step it up, though. Cody says, Lindsay, you want me to be a trade? All right, I'm out. I'm out this piece. Tyrone says, with these sorry-ass coaches and franchises. True says, Giants can have Tom, and New York fans are so friendly. Yeah, it's not going to take 19 seasons to get them people pissed at you, believe me. If you think it was rough in Pittsburgh, New York's going to eat you alive. Even the great Randy Johnson in baseball, they chased his ass out of New York, and come on, it's rough. That's a rough place to play. TJ is washed. Jamal, I agree, dude. I mean, come on, is he doing what we expect him to do with the money he's being played? Absolutely not, anywhere even close. And again, going back, what are they in the last 6-11? Who had something up earlier? Their last 17 games, I think the Steelers are 6-11. Go back and look at what TJ's numbers were doing in the second part of last year. So in that 6-11 that we're in our last 17 games, are you thrilled with what the way TJ is performing with the money he's made? And a lot of people are going to say the same thing, but it's TJ. And I get that. Everyone loves him and they like him and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I want this team to be better. I want to win football games. I want to be in contention. I want to be excited for my team. And that's the opposite of what's happening every week. Tyrone is saying this. Tallman washed as fuck. Truth says Tallman had a blank stare. Does he have you know what? That stare, though, that's what I'm saying. It was like the body language of the players, coaches, everybody was very similar. No answers, just kind of like Tyrone. That's why you're GOAT. 1-11 without him. Cerebus said, I do want to say welcome to the board. He says Mason Rudolph picked himself up, dusted himself off, made a cup of English tea, and played Madden. Kenneth, if we use Washington like a back two, much he'd end up like Chubb. You know what I mean? That's one thing I'm concerned about. You know, he's 9 feet tall. He's going to get hit at the knees. He's going to get hit low, and that's going to be a problem ultimately. But the guy can't not only touch the ball 2 times a game. They just can't. He just can't. If you have a guy that literally has proven that he can move the ball and break tackles and cause, come on, how can you not use him? Just to sit there and have him in your back pocket, it's a stupid thing. You're not putting yourself in the best position to win football games if he's not getting the ball more. And I do want to say also, amazing catch by Kenneth Gainwell. It just popped up in my mind during the course of the game. That was a Troy Polamalu fingertip type of catch that we all known to love back in Troy's day. Kenneth says if we use Washington, okay, we got that. Tyrone, why everyone quiet now with the TJ Watt shit? Somber, and if Howard sucks, at least we'll know. While simultaneously getting a better first round pick, I don't see there's no downside to seeing the guy play. None. You know what they'll do? They'll put him in the worst situation that absolutely means nothing against third string guys, and that's going to be the best look we have at him. He'll come in at the end of the year in a game against the Ravens or some shit if we're out of it, and Tyrone says, right, stop that. Tyrone, TJ, only reason this team done some since 2020. Laugh my ass off. Says Bombs. Richard, what's up, Richard? Always great to see Richard on the terrible board. Richard is saying, I agree. If they lose to the Ravens, they should start Howard. Tyrone says, yeah, trade my dog for real so he can actually win something. Tyrone follows that up with the sorry-ass coaches. Tortilla, he hasn't done shit, though, since he hurt his ankle last year. Keeping TJ because of his past is how we got here with Tomlin. TJ had 13 sacks last year. How many does he have now? I don't know. I'm not being a smartass or anything. I don't even know. Jonathan Harvey, I do want to say welcome to the terrible board. Jonathan Harvey says this. Bottom line is that the Art must move on ASAP from Tomlin and other staff like the defensive coordinator and offensive line coach, perhaps, and maybe Arthur Smith. The crowd chanting "Fire Tomlin" is like James Franklin. I'm sorry, at Penn State. Tyrone says, "You mean others ain't done shit right?" Lindsay says that's false. TJ has zero to do with Tomlin. Brian Pasquale. Brian says this. Rooney, the O-line stinks. Tomlin, the head coach, stinks. TJ Watt, the highest paid player, stinks. The Steelers will never win anything with any of those three. Tyrone, no offense again, right, Tortilla? Tyrone, yeah, free my dog. Let's see. I do want to say, hey, what's up to Aaron Jade? Always great seeing Aaron Jade on the board. He says, here we go, Steelers. And that's always the case. Again, we're as frustrated as anybody else at this point. We're just, again, we're letting it out and talking about it. But I agree. Let's go Steelers every day, man. Sommer says Kenny also couldn't see over the line, so his first instinct was to run. Howard is not Lenny Pickles. Tyrone, y'all Wallace think we asked. Now take out 90, see what we really look like. Let's see what else we could get into, guys. Again, the Cam Hayward, that was interesting with Josh Allen. Who wants to hear about this little scuffle going on about between Patrick Queen and Trey Essex? Of course, Trey Essex is the former offensive lineman who was on the the Super Bowl team 20 years ago, 2005. They went on to win the Super Bowl over Seattle that year, guys. There was some comments, and here's the thing: it's now you're starting to see shots being fired from, again, player to player, player against player, player over coaches, recent players, former players, current players. This is what let me track down what it was that Trey Essex said, because he did say something and Patrick Queen snapped right back at him. It was actually kind of an interesting exchange, guys. This, if I can find it again. Trey Essex says this about Patrick Queen. He's hurt, but I'm over the Patrick Queen experiment. Simply put, he's not a Steeler linebacker. He's not Ferrier. He's not Timmons. He's not Shazier. He doesn't play with that disposition. We missed on that signing, and for our main rival to let him leave should have been a sign. And if you follow him or if you don't, Trey Essex is pretty active, always on X, formerly known as Twitter. He makes this comment about Patrick Queen, of course, not being what we thought that he was. It was a bad move. And Patrick Queen, he does stab back and he does say something along the lines of, this is coming from a guy who was carried his whole career, talking about Trey Essex. So the stab's going back and forth, guys. Again, not happy. Trey is throwing some names out there, throwing names under the bus. PQ throwing them back. That's not good signs. Again, successful Steeler teams in the past, they've always had good rapport with the people around them, good with ex-Steelers. Because the fact of the matter is, former Steelers are very involved with this football team, as they are in and out of the stadium and on a week-to-week basis, guys. So, again, to see these guys going back and forth, former players, regular players, current players, I'm sorry, not regular players, but, so this is what's going on. This is where the team is right now. This is not, again, good football that you want to be in, especially with a month, 38 days left of football games for the Steelers. Where do you see this going from here? Where do you see it going? Again, I think 4 of these next 5 games are totally winnable. But if any of the games or if the Steelers show up to any of the games like they did yesterday and play the way they did yesterday, they might not win any of these games. There was no heart, no play, no adjustments. Again, no leadership. As the most veteran guy on your team continues to flirt with a personal foul penalty, it's going on and on and on and on and on, and that turns into something eventually. If you continue on that path, no one's shutting him up. No one's shutting Joey Porter up when he's again. It really looks like this team is given up. It looks like they've given up, and again, look on the head coach's face certainly to me told a story about this football season. While being booed, while the renegade being booed, everything, guys, really says that this is the point right here. Let me know on the board. You guys think that we can get back on the track? You guys think that we could win enough games to get into the playoffs? Again, I think these are all winnable games. Detroit not even looking that good this year. But do you have any confidence in this team is able to do anything in January when it comes down to it, when it matters, when it's all on the line? I just can't imagine. We went through 12 games, 12 of 17. We're a little bit more than 2/3 of the way here. There's glimpses of an okay football team. But all in all, what you're seeing is a bad football team, top to bottom. Not because they stink. It's just they're not playing good football. Let's get into some grades of the day, guys. I'm going to need your help on the grades of the day. If you would, I'm going to start with the quarterbacks. We're going to blow through them. Guys on the board, what do you give the quarterbacks for grade yesterday? We're going to grade this just like it's a report card, just like you're in school. I have a feeling it's going to look a lot like my report card today, but we're going to do it anyway, guys. Let's give these guys some grades, shall we? Quarterbacks, guys. What do we give our quarterbacks? What are we giving Mason Rudolph with his interception? What are we giving Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, we could say he was hurt, but you know what? He wanted to play. He was probably the best option. What do you give the quarterbacks on the day? I think that it was not very good. Richard is saying a D- on the board. Don't be afraid. Throw your grades up there, guys, and take a look. See quarterbacks. I'm getting a D-. I'm getting a Z from Tyrone on quarterback play from the game yesterday. I don't say that I'm that far off. Somber says, let's give everyone except the running backs an F. Call it a day. You know what? Again, we're not talking about my report card here, Somber. We're talking about this football team. Lindsay said F for everyone, guys. Let's jump to the running backs. The running backs, apparently nobody is saying a passing grade on the – in Somber saying not even a game worth grading. He says this is an incomplete. Rip it up and throw it out. Let's get to the running backs, guys. Of course, we're talking about Kenneth is saying all Fs, I think is what he's saying. Guys, let's get to the running backs. Jaylen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, again, running the ball might have been a way to keep this other team off the field. You want to keep Josh Allen on the sideline. Maybe run a little bit more. Wouldn't be kind of a wise thing to do. This is what our running backs did. Jaylen Warren 35 yards, Gainwell 20 yards. Between our two running backs, we had 55 yards. F for Fire Tallman. Richard is saying C-. I think that might be for the running backs. Tortilla saying that everybody's getting held back this year. F, play Howard from here on out. I do want to say Ronnie. What's up to Ronnie? Welcome to the Terrible Board. Great having you on the show. 50 yards total. What do you think? I think that it's a lot like my report card. Mark Malone says the running backs played pretty good. They should get a B. Running backs B- because the boxes were stacked. And again, everybody knows we're not going down the field. How do we even expect? We're not covering. We're not doing anything to make other things better either. You see what I'm saying? If we would be able to open the field, then we do. We can run, but we don't. Everything is just a disaster. It almost feels like they're fucking with us. Bingo says if they somehow manage to fall ass backwards into a wild game, then nothing will change. The piss poor play will just be justified and rewarded. Please, God, no. Somber said the line made no holes, set no edges. Tyrone, they didn't fear DK a bit and stacked. They respected our offense none. And this was a defense that was also missing starters. It wasn't just the offensive line. The defense was missing 2 or 3 starters as well. Jay Quest, what's up, man? I do want to say welcome to the terrible board. Jay Quest says this running back equals C would be higher grade if the coaches actually schemed up running play. I agree. They're not doing other things to make the running game better. What a mess. Let's get to the tight ends, guys. Tight end play for the day. Broderick Jones, not Broderick Jones. Darnell Washington, he did have the most snaps. Okay, here it is. 34 snaps for Mount Washington on the day. Jonnu Smith, 23 snaps. And Pat Freiermuth, again, the only one of these 3 guys that scored the most touchdowns out of the tight end room, he gets 17 snaps. So the most productive in the sense, as far as the playing the position, Muth gets the least amount of snaps. Mount Washington, who I think has the potential to be the most productive with his size, he does get 34 snaps, but only catches 2 balls on the day. That man has to touch the ball more than that. It has to. You got to be out of your mind. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you're standing on the sideline and you look up and down the sideline and say, what can we do? We have to figure out what we got to do. And you look and you see a 6'7" guy who's 3'11" that just runs everybody over like Mario Brothers on a Energy Star, and you don't think that even this is where we're at. It's just not good. Tight ends weren't used enough. I agree, Somber. I mean, that's the big game plan. This Arthur Smith offense sucks. For 2 years, I've been being told, well, once we get the pieces into place, things are going to get better. It's going to be so much better. There's going to be so many tight ends we're not going to know what to do with. Well, it's funny because you're not using your tight ends and you're not doing the things that you said you're going to do. And this is pretty much the worst offense I've ever seen. If people are literally saying bring back Matt Canada, that gives you kind of a feel where we're at, guys. How do you overthrow Darnell, bro? I agree. Tortilla. I'm sorry. Tyrone says Tom. We got Tomlin and Smith. We screwed. Tight end C for Washington. Tortilla, ding, ding, ding. Ronnie, how does the most expensive defense in the NFL allow a team to... bro, right? That's what I'm saying, man. It's just not good. Everything is bad. Where do you start? If you're a coach and you step in tomorrow and your job is to fix this thing, where do you even start? If you're going to go with what you have, obviously I'd clean house. That'd be my first step. But if you couldn't clean house and you had to try to fix this, what's your first step? Where do you even start? Onto the wide receiving room, guys. Very minuscule numbers for the wide receiver room, but nonetheless, we are going to grade them anyways. The wide receivers, DK Metcalf, 3 catches, 32 yards. Wilson, Austin, Skoranek, 0, 0, 0. And we didn't need a playmaker for 2 years at wide receiver 2. Insane. Wide receivers, Tyrone's giving them a Z. Tyrone said, thank you, Art. We love you. Somber Darnell was our leading pass catcher, and he didn't get his second target until the 4th quarter. That's what I'm saying. It's unreal. It's almost like they're fucking with us. Guys. D- toward the wide receivers is what Richard is saying. Somber, he's saying it's so low, I don't even know what this thing is that he put up. It's just a symbol. It's not even a letter anymore or a number. Fuck. DK better learn Chinese. How about this, guys? Let's talk about the offensive line. I don't think the offensive line has played horribly. I don't think they played great by any means. But for one, Broderick Jones isn't your ideal left tackle, and then you have the guy that's playing under him is playing, and then you have an older gentleman with Siamalu. I think Fatano's playing out of his mind. How many times have you heard a penalty or anything mentioned about Fatano? Again, if you don't hear that name on the offensive line, that means they're playing good. How many times have you heard Fatano called out this year? Very little. Jay Quest says wide receivers getting suspended because they skipped class. Wide receivers, none available. Mark Malone is saying, I miss GP. Tyrone, Richard is saying C- offensive line. Let's jump over to the defensive side of the ball, guys. On the defensive line. What can you give these guys? Do I even have to ask? This defense gave up 249 yards, the most ever in the 4-1-2 by a visiting team. I don't even know if I even have to do this on defense. Guys, anybody give the defensive line anything more than an F? Anybody? How about linebackers? How about Highsmith missing a sack? How about TJ overrunning a sack? How about Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen? I always feel like they're chasing somebody. They're always behind the guy that they're chasing down. And then, of course, the secondary, which I don't think you could blame much fault on. I think that the defense stepped up, or the secondary stepped up and was able to make tackles that they shouldn't be concerning themselves with, because the first two layers shit the bed. And when Joey Porter's out there tackling guys and making, looking good, everyone on defense should be in jail. Tortilla saying. Richard says defense first half B- and F in the second half. Somber, whole defense gets an F besides Echo. Eccles had a pick. You're right. Looked nice. You know what, Eccles? I think he has 2 picks this year that matches. I think they said, what did he say? It matches all of his interceptions with New York or something like that. So, Brady, I do want to say welcome to Brady. Always glad to see new faces. Welcome to the terrible board. He says, what do you think about our middle of the field? Bro, it's a part of the whole right now. I can't find many things that I don't have a problem with this team. And I don't want to be at this point. I want to be optimistic. I want to be talking about the Ravens game meaning something. I want to be figuring out what Baltimore, Miami, Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore is going to yield for us. We're past square one. We're like on the AD-BC time period. I mean, like, seriously, dude, it's unbelievable what's going on with this football team. It's unbelievable. Did the team give up? There's just no heart. It looked like a bunch of people playing without heart out there, missing tackles, and just it's non-applicable. Applicable. Marcus saying. Tyrone says defense F. Tyrone says first half was cold. I blame offense for real. F is deserved, says Brady. Somber says whole defense gets an F besides Eccles. Richard says defense. Okay, we're up here. Tyrone linebackers. Brady says TJ isn't doing much. You ain't kidding. For the money he gets paid, he's robbing us blind. As consumers of the product that is the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, we are getting robbed blind by this guy. We're paying for we're paying for real crabs, and they're giving us imitation crab meat. And we're not answering, and we're happy, and we're defending it week in, week out. Guy has to do something. Totally down here for him. And again, a lot of people were expecting him to make some noise after some of the contract work done this offseason. Somber says, Eric V, you sound like spoiled brats, he says. You sound like spoiled brat. Listen to this, Eric V. When a team hasn't won a playoff in 10 years, that's not being spoiled, you jerk. You fucking dummy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you a fucking dummy, but you are. Come on. If a team doesn't win a playoff game in 10 years, we're spoiled. You nugget. You pudding head. I swear to Pete. Tom versus AI. Jens Darnell is a problem for real. Go Bill. Nah, bro. Absolutely. Darnell is a problem for real. Eric V says your team is not okay, so you're answering your own question, you nut. Eric V. Let's see what Eric V has to say. Let's see if Eric V is here to enlighten us. Please, Eric V, enlighten me. He says your team has been good. Your team has been good, not great for 15 years. Look at the teams that are good now. They all had down years. Pittsburgh really hasn't had a down year. Can't get time. No, well, no shit. Tell me something I don't know, Eric V. By all means, if you stop to enlighten us, tell us something of a value, please. Ronnie says they gave away George Pickens for nothing. All a kid like that needs is structure and team culture. Lindsay says by TJ, come on. Somber says we do not care, Eric. Good morning, and coach need to draft, or GM and coach need to draft better. Big Pun, what's up, Big Pun? Always great seeing Big Pun on the board. Big Pun says James Cook bounced to the outside all game long. Where's it, dude? That's what I'm saying. All game long, bouncing outside. I mean, if that outside linebacker ain't there to pinch that corner, there's nobody. And you have the outside linebacker running right past the linebacker, looking for a sack on first down runs. We are average. I agree at this point. Tyrone says, you mean where TJ gets double teamed? Putting it somber. Jay Quest at Eric V. We're not complaining because we suck. We're complaining because we've been mediocre for 10 plus years without any. And that's it. There you go. I take back whatever I said bad about him. Tortilla, we paid TJ to get through double teams. Right? Well, we're paying him for something that he's not doing. I can promise you that. Richard says when you have the most expensive defense in the NFL and they're ranked dead last, is a problem. Guys, let's get to. We do have to finish the grading as we are moving along here. Coaching. What do you give the coaching for the day? Please, by all means, throw up your grade for the coaching of the day for yesterday. And I'm talking head coach. I'm talking offensive coordinators. I'm talking defensive coordinators. I'm even talking Danny Smith. Throw your hat in on what you think about coaching as far as giving grades to these guys. I could guess where this is going. But I just want to confirm and make sure that that we're all seeing things the same. TJ isn't Superman. I'm seeing on the board. That was from Lindsay. Tyrone says this. TJ hasn't been average this year. I'll give you that. Tyrone says, but you know what? I don't blame him. He's tired of carrying his sorry-ass team. Mark Malone, Richard, yes, LOL. There has literally never been a coach in the history of the NFL that has done less with more than Tomlin. Big John Stud, middle name Mud, says Eric going to get kicked off the island like Vanilla Thunder if he isn't careful. Well, he's welcome. He just has to stop being the stupid ass. You get one. You always get you get one. Yeah, everybody in here sound like a bunch of crybabies. What the fuck you want us to do? What do you want to? You want us to come in here and talk about how great our team is today? Is that what you're looking for? Good luck finding that. Believe me. Donald Smith, what's up, dude? Always great seeing all new faces. I do want to say welcome, Donald Smith. He says, I said last year, it's more of a coaching style and putting the right personnel in the right place. The correction is to seriously make head coaching. Dude, and I agree more. And even, during the week, Queen's coming out saying, we're not being put in the right positions to be as productive as we can. It's schematic. And, so this whole thing, it's snowballing, guys. It really is snowballing. Unfortunately, again, we have 5 games. I hate to be at this point right now. If we were 2-3 games left in the season, but here it is. It's December. It's Tomlin Steeler December football. Are we stupid because we expected anything else? Maybe. Tyrone says he gets chipped 170 times, leads the league. And there's my argument on that, Tyrone. If he's getting blocked by so many people, there should be somebody else available to make a play, and that's just not happening either. Nobody else is getting pressure, even if TJ's getting triple, whatever they say he's getting covered, double, triple, whatever it is. Where's the other people then? Somber says that's just not true. Pun, LOL. At least fact check yourself. Lindsay says pocket watching like it's our money. TJ deserves to get paid. Big Pun at Tyrone. Get your lips off of TJ's sack. Coaching F, that is what Richard says. Tortilla says you don't even want to know, Ryan. My man John says coaching gets an F for they're fucking killing me. Oh, they're talking about the grade. We don't even want to know. Let me see if anybody else threw some grades up here. Ronnie says the Steelers should have never given TJ the. I agree. How do you get stupid? It's Phyllis Steele says, what freaking coaches? The Steelers have coaches? Somber, I'm just not defending TJ. But that's false. LOL. Tyrone says, right, I I ain't TJ been the best. I know he hasn't, but one average year, it's all right. 1-11 is all I got to say, is what Tyrone is saying. He says the Steelers without TJ Watt are 1-11. Big Pun says at Somber, I watch games. Perhaps you should, instead of relying on PFF's nonsense. Tyrone says exactly, Ryan. My point. Where the fuck is where the fuck everybody else? Exactly. Somebody should. That's why you take advantage of people getting double teamed. What do you do on offense when they bring more pressure? They bring more right. You take advantage of the blitz. You go where there's a person that's not. Why aren't we able to take advantage of these things that regular football teams do on a day-to-day basis, a game-to-game basis? Why is everything so difficult for this football team? That offense was 100% ineffective yesterday. We're lucky to have a touchdown yesterday. Come on, we scored 7 points. That is an ineffective offense that literally nobody fears. You know what they're going to do, and you know when they're going to do it, and you know exactly the results that they're going to get from it. And it's embarrassing. And I can't even believe that this is an NFL team, and I can't even believe that people aren't losing their minds at what kind of an NFL football team this is. Somber, okay. Now you just sound dumb. Tortilla says, man, our highest paid players shouldn't have an excuse to play bad. Tyrone, Big Pun, Izzy, got to you, I see. Lindsay, then we should have zero excuses, coaches included. Tortilla, they all paid. Pun on that Thunderbird. Let me ask you guys, special teams. We're still working through the grades. We haven't even made it through the grade. That's how great of a day it must have been yesterday. Special teams, guys. Corliss Waitman, he put the foot to the leather. He kicked better this week, kicking 15 more yards, I think, than last week per average. Boswell, always on the overs and unders for the week. I had him at 2.5. He didn't have any. No field goals, not even in field goal range. The one time that they went for it on 4th down. And I thought Keshawn Williams looked nice on returns. I mean, I like his speed. But special teams, anything that even grabs your attention. Lindsay says, no, we suck without him. That's why he was paid. Ronnie says TJ was under contract after that franchise him. If he didn't like trade him, what has he ever won? Nothing. Tyrone says, I hope TJ don't play and see what happens. It'll look like last night. And finally, guys, what's your overall grade? What's your overall grade on the team yesterday? I feel that was one of the worst games I've ever seen the Steelers play. And I'm not a spring chicken. I see my Steeler football. Believe me, I seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. That might have been, and again, that was by far the best team I've seen make us look that bad. Come on, that was a down and out Buffalo Bill team. Anybody with any competence could have probably beat that team yesterday, and we just got dominated. Again, their body language told me that they didn't want to be there. Steeler Freak, I'm sure they could find a way to give up 240 yards without TJ. Donald Smith, what's up, man? He says definitely an F. Failure to plan correctly. There it is. Failure to plan correctly whatever homework they are doing obviously isn't working. We know it's a team effort. Both sides of the ball are, as we know it, very inconsistent. I mean, seriously, when was the last time you can remember this team being this bad, top to bottom? It certainly didn't have all these stars' names on it. Let's see. Did he pressure running back? Hey, nobody. Again, guys, with the TJ conversation, he ran past the running back ample times, looking for a sack on 1st down, 2nd down when they were running the ball. And again, he gives up that outside so many times. They ran that play. What did they say? How many times they run the same 2 plays over and over? Tyrone, PQ, Wilson, Harrison, Big Pun says, Somber, you made it personal. You wouldn't even think about that in person because I dismantle you in 20 seconds. Lindsay says it's TJ's job to pressure everyone. Tyrone says bums. Tortilla says TJ can make a play when they run at him. Can only make a play when they run at him. Overall P for pussies is what Phil Steele is saying on the board. Overall, guys, your overall score. I mean, did you find anything worth taking it up from an F? Maybe you did, and I would love to hear about it because again, once I get this out of my system, I got to try to start figuring out a way to get ready for Baltimore. And again, if there's anything, please by all means, let me know what it was that you've seen out there that again that we could turn into something moving forward. 1990, Ron, this is what, listen, Ron, you were very close to winning the game ball on the board today. You really are. Ron says, honestly, 1991 Knowles final season. I say this all the time. You're this close to getting the game ball, and I got to be honest with you. The messages are really good today. There's a lot of good stuff, but I say all the time. This is what the Knowles, Chuck Knowles' latter years felt like. Very stale, very low intensity, just kind of going through the motions. You almost knew that they knew it wasn't going to be good. And this is the first time I felt it since then. Even years when we had losing seasons in the late 90s, you still felt hope. Very similar to the 1989, 90. I agree, 90, 91. Game ball goes to 80. For T, I was paying for TJ, but man, it's not looking like we made the right choice. Big pun, 0 playoff ones with TJ. Jamal, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's not a Steeler, bro. I agree. He looks just as disconnected as anybody else did, especially with that big red clown nose he's walking around with all evening. Anybody that thought this was a clown show coming up this year, here you go. You got your all you're missing now is the big floppy shoes on that guy. Jamal's saying that Aaron looked worse than old baby hands out there. Mark Malone seems like a stand-up dude to me, Jamal, but I'd start Howard from here on out. The Mark Malone years, Bingo's saying. Very, very difficult times for us Steeler fans. The Mark Malone, the Bubby Brister. Although Brister had a hell of an arm. I was watching some highlights the other day. Man, he had an arm. It was a dork. Somber says that's not true, pun. At least fact check yourself. I think the guys are going to go at it there a little bit. Ronnie says I'm a Generation Xer like you, bro. I've seen everything, never been like this. No, and it's gone. Things have been bad, and things got better. But this is down and out. This is as down and out as I've seen for this period of time as well. Ron, correct? I mean, it's at some point this should have been fixed. Let's move on. Tyrone TJ Watt has no offense his whole career. Tyrone after Bedden left. The fuck y'all talking about? Lindsay, y'all think TJ is supposed to carry this team? Crazy. And that's another thing that's kind of weird too, Lindsay. And I agree. A lot of people say, well, TJ doesn't have any wins. Well, he's a defensive player. You know what I mean? How much can you really come back on a defensive player? Yes, he gets paid mad money. I get that. But I could recall the Chiefs game when he had a scoop and score for a touchdown. I think that was maybe like some of the only scoring we had in that particular playoff game early on in his career. But again, what is he to do that's the big argument? Obviously, the offense didn't do what they needed to do. Obviously, the whole thing didn't work. We haven't won a playoff game in a long time. Matter of fact, we haven't even been able to stay in a playoff game for a long time, which is part of the problem as well. Tyrone, he's been carrying. Only reason we won something. Jamal, he's cool. I like him, but his career is done. All I'm saying is he's tired and ready to retire to Green. I agree. If it doesn't happen this year, I'll be surprised. And as a matter of fact, I mean, do you really want it to happen? You want Aaron Rodgers back next year? Was this experiment good enough for you? Yes, the answers aren't really promising at this point. There isn't somebody that we could go out and just fix this with. But move on here.
No idea what happened. I'm trying to figure it out, guys. I did not pull the plug. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to figure it out. We all know it's Mike Tomlin's fault right now. Okay, guys, just give me a break here. Coach is not sending in the right plays. Him and Artie Smith got me all fucked up over here. Hey, Ryan, you're still down. I don't know what's going on up there. Give me 1 second. I'll come up and take a look ski at the mics.
You're good. Let's just, you know what I'm going to
Yeah,
do?
you guys can hear my soothing tones. Oh, there you are. You're back.
Am I back? Can any? Okay, you hear me now? What the fuck? All right, there we go. If we're back, listen, guys, what we're gonna do is we are gonna start getting ready to wrap things up. I don't know what the deal was. However, I don't want to.
Yeah, I hear you now. You're back. You're back.
I don't want to leave you in a position, guys, to leave you out. And because I don't know what the hell's going on, but let's do this. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Richard Somber. Guys, thank you so much. I'm back, Mark. Thank you, sir. So let's we'll just touch upon a couple more things again. I don't want to leave you hanging. Again, if it cuts me off, I feel terrible. So let's just get on a couple more things, and we are going to wrap it up for the day, guys. This is Monday. Again, this is Ravens week. We're going into week 14. Monday Night Football tonight, guys. The Giants and the Bills. That will be tonight at 8:20. Again, let's just go through a few things as we do wrap it up, guys, because again, I don't want to leave you hanging, and I don't know what just happened. It seems like things are okay now, but things seemed like they were okay 5 minutes ago as well, and I'm not wanting to risk it. So this is going to be, guys, the let me just go through my notes, make sure there's nothing that's super important that I wanted to talk about real quick here. Let's see, 9 years in the playoffs, 3 playoff wins in 13 years, blah 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 blah. Got that. We're going to talk a little bit tomorrow. I'll get into Aaron Rodgers throwing some of his receivers under the bus. We'll get into that. You know what? And that looks like everything. So what I'm going to do, guys, we are going to get ready to head into the trivia part of the show, where it is absolutely how well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? This is Ravens week, so the trivia questions will be Baltimore Ravens questions. Let me just double check one more time, because again, once more, I don't want to leave anything out, guys. This is a big day. We're gonna have to figure out a way to turn the corner here halfway through the week and figure out what it's going to take to beat Baltimore this weekend. And also, if there's any chance, if we fall ass backward into January, if we can make anything happen. I'm feeling discouraged after what I seen last night, but again, we're here for this week, and we're going to figure it out, and we're going to see what the hell we think we could. I think this is a totally winnable game for the Steelers, but again, I just don't know if the Steelers are going to put anything on that field that resembles a winning football team. I haven't seen it as of late. They lost 5 of their last 7. Again, you were up big in the division, started 4-1. Now we're 6-6, guys. We went, 2-5. Of course, that 5 out of the last 7 they lost. They did say that. So we're going to get into all that and so much more, guys. Again, all right. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Time for how well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent, guys? This is Baltimore Ravens week. Let's get ready. Put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board. Lindsay said the Steelers got everybody on edge. All right, guys, question of the day. Are you ready? The 2 longest tenured coaches for their teams in the NFL, of course, is Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh. These 2 coaches will be facing off this Sunday between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Guys, I want to know which one of these 2 coaches has a higher winning percentage as a head coach for their respective team. John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, which one of these two head coaches has a higher regular season winning percentage? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. every day right here on the tube. Richard is saying Tomlin on the board. Guys, also, again, question of the day. Does Mike Tomlin or John Harbaugh have a higher regular season winning percentage? Lindsay saying Tomlin. Harbaugh. Ronnie saying Harbaugh. Richard saying Tomlin. Let me know what you think on the board, guys. Let me know what you think. Also, if you haven't had a chance, go check out the website, www.d2dumyinzers.com. A lot of cool things over there. Mike puts a lot of work into it. There is his Dum Yinzer thoughts. Also, there are also all the episodes, every episode that we ever did, and contact information, all kind of cool stuff. Go check out the website at www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. Tyrone is saying Tomlin. Bingo says Harbaugh, 2 games over 500. So Harbaugh. Tortilla, probably Tomlin. Guys, question of the day. Between these two longest tenured head coaches in the NFL that are going at it against each other on Sunday, Tomlin and Harbaugh, who has the higher winning percentage in the regular season? Lindsay says, I'll never give credits to Raven. I don't give a fuck even if they win 15 Super Bowls in a row, and not even if there was a fire, she says. Guys, that is the question of the day. Which one of these coaches has a higher winning percentage? This is your answer. If you picked Mike Tomlin, you would be correct. Mike Tomlin's regular season winning record is 62.8. Jim Harbaugh's regular season winning record is 61.9. 62.8 to 61.9 is the answer to that question, and that would be in favor of Coach T. TTTTT5955 got blown out by a crippled offense. Absolutely pathetic. You ain't kidding. There's nothing that wasn't pathetic about that game. If you thought the defense was bad, did you see the offense? TTTTTTT. What a disaster. All right, let me start my wrap up, guys. As again, I don't know what the hell just went down with the computer. Maybe it was nothing. But I don't want to lose you guys again on this Monday. Let me start by saying this. If you haven't had a chance, go swing by any of our social media sites. We do have social media presence everywhere. Swing by Facebook, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, wherever we may be. Go over, just hit the follow button. Keep up with what the 2 Dumb Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet today, hit the like button down below. Also, sub if you haven't, share or comment, even if you will. It helps out in the algorithm. We appreciate it greatly. We thank you. Again, also, if you haven't had a chance yet for the game this week, do be sure to go down and get yourself a case of Duquesne Pilsner, guys. Duquesne Pilsner made right here in Pittsburgh. The guys over at Duquesne Pilsner does not hesitate when it comes to mentioning us in their promotion and advertising. So we want to give big thank yous to the guys over at Duquesne Pilsner. Swing by, show them some love, hit the like button on any of their social media posts, or as I said, stop by and grab yourself a case for the big game this weekend. Is Duquesne Pilsner's made right here in Pittsburgh, and it says right on the can, grab yourself a Duke. Grab a Duke. Cody, I did send over on Discord, I showed you a picture of that can. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I remember you asked me that Friday. I forgot till after the show, but I did want to send you and let you know that was sent over for you to check that out. Also, a few other things before we do wrap it up, guys. The Pitt Panthers, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, they get a whooping this weekend at home on the North Shore as Miami comes to town and beats Pitt 38-7. Penn State with a comeback win as they beat Rutgers 40-36. A lot of speculation about these two teams possibly meeting in the Pinstripe Bowl up in the Bronx in New York, but that is not confirmed. But a lot of rumor, Pitt, Penn State, possibly Pinstripe Bowl. That will be a lot of fun. Pittsburgh Penguins, they split over the weekend on Friday. They win in overtime over Columbus 4-3. They come home and they get stomped by the Toronto Maple Leafs 7-2. They're back at it today against the Flyers. That's a 7:00 start. And our team right here from my valley, the Aliquippa Quips, they did lose their game in the state playoffs last week, 28-24. To Twin Valley. So just one game short of the state championship this year. However, there are a couple other teams that are advancing on. Central Catholic, which was Dan Marino's former high school. Also, Avonworth, they do move on. Farrell moves on. So there are some teams from the Whippeal in the west part of the state that are moving on. But guys, again, Aliquippa does fail to go to the state championship. DBU DBU is what they call them. All the DBs that go to the pros from Aliquippa end up in the Hall of Fame. Delrell Rivas, Ty Law, for example. So sucks to see them out, but good luck to the rest of the teams moving forward in the States. Go ahead and bring us back some gold and some hard work to the Western PA area. I also do want to say this. Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. I certainly appreciate each and every one of you. I truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. You guys, again, as I always say, and I'm never going to not say it because I mean it, is you guys are the lifeblood of this show, and greatly appreciated. I do want to say thank you, everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting on this show, and I have nothing better. I can't say enough to what the board means to us here on the show, and also everybody at home. If you're listening, if you're watching, if you're in the car, you're at the gym, you're at work, wherever you may be, or wherever you may have earbuds, pods, the radio on, whatever the case may be, we thank you too, guys. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Glad to see everybody joined us on this Monday after the Steelers take the L 26-7 to the Buffalo Bills. I thought we had a chance. I didn't think that we were going to get dominated by a team that came in playing like ass, but we managed to be more ass in a sense that we didn't only lose, we got dominated record-wise. We got dominated everywhere on the field. Again, very disconnected look on the fans of the Steelers, or the players of the Steelers. I'm so sorry. And in the concerning part to that, guys, to me is this. Buffalo looked bad, too. That was not the good version of Buffalo at all. The fact that the bad Buffalo was able to dominate us the way that they did, I think, is the most I think that's the part that hits home worst for me. That wasn't a great game played by Buffalo, but they managed to dominate us on a level that they were breaking records. So we'll figure it out, guys. I don't know what the answers are at this point. We're gonna get back at it, and again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Try to figure out what it is we got to do to beat Baltimore again. I think a totally winnable game, but what can we actually really do when it comes down to it? It's going to be difficult, guys. A lot needs to happen this offseason, and we'll get into that and so much more moving forward, guys. Make sure I'm not missing any. I do have interesting stats and numbers tomorrow. Again, if it wasn't running over and everything, again, and then the problems with I don't know what this wire issue was I was having, but tomorrow I'm going to get into all the interesting numbers and interesting statistics and things like that happened throughout the course of this game, and so much more, guys, as we get ready to, again, turn full speed into Ravens week. Not quite there yet, still decompressing a little bit, but that's acceptable. Again, I do want to say thank you to everybody, even Eric V. I know I gave him a hard time, but other than that, anything else on the board, throw it up on the board if you want to say, make any last comments before we do roll, as we are ready to wrap things up for today. Throw your messages on the board. I will address them before I do bounce. Tyrone says, I'm sorry, TJ, that you got Tallman as a head coach. Tyrone and an owner give you no offense. It's not looking good, brother. And again, we were able to justify it last week. Win this game against Baltimore or against Buffalo, you might be in good shape. But the team came out and showed no ability to even look like an NFL offense. For me, that's the writing on the wall. Am I out? No. I'm going to watch every single game the rest of the year. And I'm going to hope things go well. But at the end of the day, the writing is on the wall. The writing's on the wall. Cody said Eric V his ass. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Lindsay, because he's not Superman. Guys, again, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again, to get back into it. Again, a lot of things to get into. I don't even feel that we got into everything today. So again, I hope everyone joins us back tomorrow at our regular time. We'll get into all this and so much more. Don't forget Monday Night Football tonight. Again, the Patriots and Giants should be a heck of a game. I like to see what the Patriots actually have, what they bring to the table, especially getting closer to the playoffs. And you know what? That Giants team was a team that beat the Philadelphia Eagles in their division. So I don't know. It should be a good football game, maybe. We'll see. But that is on tonight at 8:20. Penguins also tonight, a 7 o'clock start. Again, guys, don't forget. And then also tomorrow we will go over the Pick'ems results tomorrow as well, and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's going to be a great Tuesday. As always, Tortilla, I'm just mad. No, brother, it's all good. Hey, you know what? We had to come here to talk. Everybody had to talk each other down off the ledge today. And you know what? We did all we could, but we'll be back at it tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll be needing to continue the process. and it's gonna be a great one, guys. So I hope everybody has a great Monday. Stay safe. Enjoy your Monday Night Football. Again, be safe, everybody. We like to see everybody back tomorrow. Have a great day. Enjoy football or wrestling or whatever it is that everybody has. But one more time, more importantly than everything, thank you so much, everybody. You guys rock my world as always. I can't wait to do it again with you guys tomorrow. Hope everyone has a great one. Enjoy your day. Have a safe Monday. I'll see you in the morning. For the two Dum Yinzers, bye-bye.